And hello, everybody. Welcome back to Realnesss with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis. Up top with me today, we have Michelle. How are you doing today, Michelle?
I'm great. How you doing?
Very well, thank you. And we have a sub today. Our sub in for Miss Fantas to say is Jonathan. How you doing, Jonathan?
Hello, I'm good, thanks. I'm glad to be here.
This is
we caught up on it.
You talk about the challenge.
I know, and I've watched it right from the beginning. So even like Real World and Road Rules and everywhere where they grab all the challenge people from now, I've watched all those shows. So
yes, even Shipwrecked.
I've watched some of Shipwrecked. I've watched a lot of the UK stuff when they started grabbing people from there. I went back and started watching some of that.
So you're in the right company right now because we are all historians and we love the show. So yes, we're super happy to have you. Definitely to have a male perspective because it's usually the three of us ladies kind of going at it. All have their own opinions, but we never really hear a men's kind of perspective of this show. So it will be very lovely to have.
It still won't, but fine.
Yes, we will. I know we will. If this is your first time on Realness, well then welcome. Thank you for being here. Join us in the comments and just make sure that you subscribe down over there. We're looking to get to 1,000 subscribers, hopefully before the year ends. That would be the best Christmas present ever. So let's get right into it. We're doing episode 3. We're starting to really go through. I'm like, what were your thoughts, Michelle? For me, I would say that I was saddened by this episode. Michelle, what about you? How'd you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely saddened. There were some good moments, some hilarious moments. I felt some great fight moments that I laughed a lot at. So in that way, I did enjoy certain elements of it, which we'll get to. As a whole, am I disappointed? Yes. Did I expect it? Yes.
And Jonathan, what was your overall thoughts of this episode?
There was a lot that happened. Like people that we'll talk about, people got injured and, there was a lot of gaming happening and some fights, but still, 7 out of 10 for some reason. There was just something lacking in entertainment value for me that just wasn't fully there, but still a decent episode for sure.
Decent episode. I agreed about a 7, but the last 2 episodes were 10s in my book. So I guess maybe that's also why I was kind of like, love it. Obviously, always will enjoy watching the challenge, but this one was just like a little bit underwhelming, and it could just be because of the outcome. It's kind of like, And we have in the house, we have Carolyn. Oh, why is my chat's not working? Okay, we'll just avoid that right now. Chat's not working, guys. If I don't pull your question up, is because it's not letting me. So it's called Enemy of the State. Is that because Wes is enemy of the state, or is it Devon? Like, who is the enemy of the state, do you guys think?
I think Devon is the enemy of the state, but it could also be taken with just Wes or Devon. But I think Devon, because Devon's the one who is actively being doesn't matter for me anymore. I'm just gonna poke the bear as much as possible because I don't have these people don't have my back, so I don't give a shit. I'm just gonna get a rise out of these people. So that he's kind of being an enemy of the state. If the state is the Big Brother alliance, because those are the people who kind of have the control right now.
Mm-hmm. So the beginning of the episode, we have everybody coming back into the house. They're like, congratulations, K-Dog. I didn't know this was his name. Have you heard him be called K-Dog before by Wes?
No. I thought it was a troll moment.
So Kyle feels blindsided by Fessy. Kyle's saying that he's friends with them all. He kind of gathers CT, Wes, Nom, Leo. We're kind of the only people that I actually saw. And CT's kind of talking, trolling it a little bit, being talking about, what's his name? I keep on forgetting his name from last episode.
Joseph.
I'm going to Jacob again. I couldn't remember his name all last episode, and I was fully calling him Jacob, and I still can't remember it. Saying that he's a kid that showed up with no pants, eating mustard. I thought that was a funny moment, CT. But Kyle was talking about how he was really upset by Fessy, and that Fessy was his friend. Did you guys know that Fessy and Kyle were like this close? Like, Jonathan, what do you? I don't even see it.
No, I mean, I didn't. It was new information to me, so I was like, okay, that's interesting. But I mean, Kyle really only became reactive once Fessy, really kind of put it in his face, kind of out against him. And I know we'll talk about it, but I didn't fully understand that moment. Like, I was like, is that a bad gameplay for Fessy? Because what did he gain from that? Did he gain anything? I think it was more hurtful than it was gainful for him.
Agreed.
So I'm like, did he just say it, or was that planned and he just didn't think it through? I don't know. It was interesting.
So right before we get to that particular conversation, we have, I thought, one of the cuter moments of the episode, one where I was smiling a lot, was Big T and CT outside having a little bit of a conversation. And apparently they have a new nickname. It's called Big CT. Cute. And they're kind of talking about how Big T is a little more friendly. And so she wants to be the friendly, people-oriented coach, and that CT was going to help her with fitness and exercise and stuff like that. Now, I don't know if you guys saw this, but it felt like there was a bit of a love connection. Like the love connection music was kind of playing. Did either of you, Michelle, maybe, did you notice?
I mean, there was definitely like a mood. I don't know. I didn't really see it that way. Like, I think she was kind of being charming and friendly and flirty the way she kind of is. Like maybe, but nothing fully. But I kind of had a moment where I was like, wait. And then I was like, nah, I don't think so. She's like half his age. But I mean, I don't know. But yeah, it was a cute moment for sure.
When he's like kind of giggling in the confessional, he gives her the nickname Hawk, and she gives him Fuzzy Bunny, and he's kind of like just giggling and kind of blushing, it seemed, in his confessional. Jonathan, did you think that maybe they're painting a love story?
It crossed my mind, but also, like, I don't keep up on their personal lives. And last I heard, he was married or with his son or daughter's mother. So I remember seeing a little bit of that. I'm like, are they not together anymore? I'm not sure. Is he single? Are they both single is what I'm asking?
Yeah, they separated when he was on the challenge this season. The rumor is they might be kind of back together or not, but in an interview he did say he was like that there were struggles in his marriage or whatever, and that they were separated. So I'm pretty sure they aren't together.
Right. I mean, I felt it a little bit that they were at least planting seeds or like editing it that way. But then it quickly dissipated as well. So, I mean, who knows?
I think we got some things working. Hello, Carolyn. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Sam. Sam is heartbroken. So are all of we. Hi, Adrienne. I told you I'd bring Jonathan here to hang out with us. So here is Jonathan. Question Pizzagate. Am I forgetting something? Was there a big pizza scandal?
Yeah, with Casey.
Oh, that was an egg gate. Yes. An egg quesadilla gate. Yes. Sam says, I love Wes so much. Like, damn. Now I won't be able to witness his trolling anymore. I know. Like, that's one thing that I love about Wes is that there is still a lightheartedness in his strategy and in how he ropes people into his games and into his, making targets and enemies and whatnot. So I just enjoy watching his gameplay, even if he's not always the nicest person. Like, it still has a bit of a lightheartedness to it, in my opinion. So yes, I will miss his trolling. Hi, Natalie. So I want Devon versus Josh in elimination, but Josh is scared. Troll. Carolyn says, Wes could have won. He was torn and betrayed by Lee. You could have called him a snake, but when he calls you his friend, he has your back. He always has had Lee's back, even with Banana's drama. It's true. We're definitely going to probably get more into that. Agreed. Fuzzy Bunny and Hawk. Let's go. Yes. They're my team right now. I thought so too, but I felt like it was just cute banter. Well, if everybody's thinking that there was a moment there, the producers are not going to put that in for no reason, right? Because they've seen how the whole season plays out. So I'm just wondering if they are painting a story that might have an outcome of them, canoodling. Adrian says that Devon downgraded to Tori and Corey upgraded to Natalie. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. So this is the moment that you kind of started talking about. I was going to call you Oliveira, Oliveira casting. Was when Fessy decides to tell everybody about the fact that when you are the double agent, you're able to see how everybody votes. And that is why he threw Kyle in. I definitely personally felt that it was a bad move, the how. If he wanted to maybe do that alone with Kyle and be like, hey, like, this is why I did that, whatever. And maybe Kyle can use that for himself or whatever, and maybe build that bond. But to me, it just felt like everybody being like, oh, you've been lying to us this entire time for the last 2 weeks. And now you just decide to spill it because I guess maybe somebody else might win the double agent position. Hi, Rylan. I don't know. Michelle, you're shaking your head.
It was so aggravating for so many reasons. You're just going to tell everyone after lying to them for 2 weeks to justify why you threw someone in when multiple people lied to you on that vote, but he directly lied to your face. Okay, cool. He admits to lying. He says, yeah, I did lie. Like, what am I supposed to do? Tell you I'm voting against what you want? You wanted us to vote in Wes. Then he's denying he wanted Wes in, even though he was pushing so hard for that. Tries to deny everything. And then like completely throws his closest people like Corey and Nelson under the bus and is like, you know, to save himself. So then their votes are like, they get screwed, even though like they were doing what he wanted. It was just so aggravating. And then the biggest thing of all is that Corey and Nelson aren't even there. So he's telling a group of people before he's telling those guys who did his dirty work. It was like, I don't even really care that much for Corey or Nelson, but I was like, dude, that is shady. Like, that's some Big Brother moves. That's not a challenge move.
What do you think, Jonathan?
Ooh. I just mean, I'm like, it's such a great opportunity, and that's why they put it in the game so that you can use that to gain something. And the fact that it just kind of went down like that, like you're obviously going to have to, other people are going to find out. So you're going to obviously have to tell them at some point, sooner rather than later. Yeah, probably best. If you're not telling them right away, then use it to your advantage. Find something. I felt like it just kind of like that was their plan, but like it slipped out at the same time. And I'm like, I don't know that him and Aneesa are great at like strategizing with that kind of material. And I love Aneesa, but yeah.
Also, though, did Fessy ask Aneesa if he could just blurt it out that way? You know what I mean? Because like if they're coupled up and they both have this information, they both said that they're not going to say anything. Like I would be furious if I was Aneesa. I'm like, oh, so now you're making me look like a shitty human being, a liar, because you now are being like, I'm going to tell everybody the truth now, and like I'm still lying about it basically over here. Like I think that was
because they didn't like show any of that. I assumed that it was like discussed, like it was going to come out to expose Kyle's betrayal on that vote, but I mean, it just wasn't a smart move, and how it was done was not good. I think if he just said it and Aneesa was completely against it, that would have been another blow up that they would have shown.
But maybe it's going to come later on because she wasn't really in this episode that much because they didn't win. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it came out again further down the road, especially if Corey and Nelson are kind of upset about this. The one other saving grace for this moment is that they're called the Stupid Brigade. I was like, Dad, that's really a great nickname for that.
It was being tossed around like it's like common knowledge. I was like, this is fantastic.
The Stupid Brigade? Have you heard of them be called that? Team Young Buck?
Who's the Stupid Brigade? Oh, like Nelson, Corey,
Fessy. I mean, I like it better than Team Young Bucks. The Stupid Brigade, it makes me laugh at least. So obviously Wes is going to be pissed about this because did he really think that he had a really good friendship with Corey and Nelson? Like I know they had that kind of moment outside where he wanted to be the janitor and like, you know, it seemed like they were kind of having common ground here, but it didn't to me feel as though they were really buying what he was selling.
I think it was more so in the past when Bananas was there, they had a common enemy until Wes and Bananas teamed up. So it was like at that time, Corey has always been against Bananas. So it was in his best interest to work with Wes. And they did work together multiple times against Bananas, or at least trying to. And so they were on the same team. But the game has really changed. And I think Wes, as the episode went on, started to finally realize that like people just are all lying. Like no one's really on his side besides Devon. Like no one is really like, they don't need him right now because they don't think they do, because they're like, oh, we have all these other like Fessies and the big guns. I don't know.
My question is though, who's going to become the target next? Okay, whatever. Devon's gone soon. When someone decides they want to go take a skull from Devon, he'll be out most likely unless he wins. But who's going to be? I mean, I'm obviously I'm rooting for him, but I'm like,
he's on my team.
Yes, shit. Sorry, but I feel like he's going to go in often, especially maybe further down the road when there's not like easy outs. He's considered someone to be easier to beat, as we hear Corey say at the end of the episode. So who's going to be public enemy number one now that they can't all rally votes together? I mean, Kyle has his skull, so yeah, you could still vote him in, but
Darrell, CT, the other winners.
You think they're just going to go to the old school winner?
I don't know. I don't think it's a smart move, but or maybe they'll turn in on each other, hopefully. We'll see. I have no idea, honestly. This season is so like the politics are just going in such a different direction.
Yeah, definitely.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
And you might know this or might not be discussed yet. So if someone gets their skull, they're still eligible to go back in, correct?
Correct.
Now there's only 10 skulls. If you take someone out who has a skull, does that skull still become available to everyone else, or is there only?
I don't think that if someone that has a skull loses their skull, that it takes one away from the reserve that hasn't been fought for yet.
So there's always 10?
I believe so.
I would think that there's always 10, and if you go against someone who has a skull and beat them, then you just take their skull.
And then there's still whatever reserve skull.
I mean, it makes sense, but I was just like, want to
clear it. You didn't specifically say, but
yeah, no, I can understand them also being like, well, kind of like with what's his name, how Jay in the end like kind of had 2 skulls. I think that they're trying to avoid that. Oh boy, you guys are freezing on me. Am I freezing on you?
No.
Oh well, okay, it's perfect.
But I wonder if you already have a skull and you win, that poses the question too. Do you get to like?
I don't think you get a second skull. I think you just are defending your own skull. That's what I'm thinking, because that was one of the holes we found last season. We're just like, well, there should be a determinate amount of skulls so that like, this doesn't happen and you're just stockpiling skulls. But I think that that's how they fixed it.
Well, I mean, to answer your question from before, I think that I do think that the next people who win will help kind of dictate. I mean, they will, but they'll definitely kind of move the herd as to who they're kind of going after. So I really do think it's double agent dependent.
100%. So Fessy, this was the first time I think I gave Fessy an eye roll, maybe second time, was when he's talking about like, this is a selfish game. And like, I made these moves because I'm here to win the money. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, sure, it's a selfish game. And he said something about like, I don't know anybody that's won this game without having lied to somebody or whatnot. And I'm like, okay, sure, fine, Fessy, but it doesn't mean that it's the right move. He's such a dunce. Like, I don't know. He just
has such a skewed version of what reality is. Like in his mind, it's like, oh, these are epic moves and people are just bitter, which in some cases, absolutely. But they're not really good strategy moves for the long run. Like he's showing his cards. It's him and Casey play very similarly in my mind, kind of, although Casey's a lot quieter, but it's like this whole, like, I'm just collecting information from you and I'm not giving you information, but it's so obvious to me that they're doing that.
Right?
I see right through it personally. I mean, maybe it'd be harder in person, but it seems like most people can tell, like even Leroy being like, I don't know if I can trust my partner. Like she doesn't really give me anything.
And I think it's what Team Big Brother is getting a bad rap for, is the fact that like, they're playing more of a conniving lying game. That yes, there's lying and being conniving in the challenge as well, but in the way that they're doing it, it seems sneaky and you're just like, I want to get it out. So I understand why they're probably, a big target. And I was just getting to this, Adrian. Kyle calling Fessy, not even calling him out, calling him a pussy. He called him a pussy, was giving him so much life. Me too, Michelle, it gave you life.
It definitely gave me life. It was ridiculous. I mean, and I did really understand when Cam was like, because at first when Cam was like, yo, like, stop, I was like, why is she stepping in? And I was like, oh, she's his partner now because he stole her. That's hilarious. She's like, yo, now we got to be a team. And I think it was good that she did that because he was just going off, but it was so funny the way he was calling off Fessy. I was like, yes. And Fessy's just sitting there.
Taking it. But like, and then, Kyle is like, fuck you guys, I'm with Wes now. I was like, I like the fact that Kyle isn't actually afraid. Like, yes, he kind of plays in the background. He's a little bit snaky. He always has this, remarks and stuff like that and drinking lots of beer, whatever. But like, I like the fact that he's not afraid of like the whole house coming for him because like he has his own opinion. So,
I mean, like Fessy literally said, like, so you lied. And he's like, yeah, okay, I lied. Like he was, he's very upfront with that. He's like, I made a move. This was lying. I was kind of, playing both sides, and now I'm picking a side. But he is very forthcoming with that kind of stuff, which is really endearing. I think that's why people like him.
And he's on my team. I'm happy he's on my team because I'm enjoying him being, I like his antics enough,
He's really risen in my books this season so far. Like, I like him more than I've maybe ever liked him on the show at this point.
Oh, I also didn't see this. So it feels like a cute banter edit. I don't know. Okay, I'm calling it now that maybe there's going to be like a little makeout scene or something next time we have a little club scene or something.
We'll see.
Adrian also says Devon downgraded to Tori and Corey upgraded to Natalie. Check. Agreed, I believe. Agreed. We'll get more into as to what we think about those pairings. This is Leroy's last season. This is true. So I know that Leroy is definitely playing to win. I'm not sure, and we'll definitely be talking about it more down the road, but I'm not sure if how he's playing is going to get him to the end. You know what I mean? I don't know.
It's hard to say. I mean, he's still in a good position because I feel like there are other teams, like, we'll get into that later, but I don't feel like he's in the worst position, and him being allied with someone, him being partnered with someone he can't trust, who's in a big alliance, is kind of good for him for now. But I think he's going to have to make some other moves and maybe get himself a different partner down the road, or he's going to need to do something else to solidify himself in the final.
Just to piggyback a bit on what you were saying about Cam stepping in and interjecting, like I would say, like, if that's my partner, I would not want them to be blown up, and wouldn't want to be attached now to public enemy number one. I didn't particularly like kind of how, even in her confessionals, which I'm sure she's being egged on by the producers to be like, give us more, but kind of saying that like, you're my partner now, followed by my rules, like you don't do what you want. And so it's just kind of like, I get it because she doesn't want to be public enemy number one, but I was also kind of like, I don't know, be a little bit nicer to Kyle about it too might work, but he did shut up. So I guess your tactic worked there.
Her tactic worked on him, yeah.
Right. So Corey obviously is upset about the fact that Fessy lied, and as one of you pointed out, the fact that they weren't in the room when he decided to tell it to pretty much everybody in the house that wasn't Corey and Nelson. What do you think, Jonathan, about Team Young Buck moving forward? Do you think that they're going to be overcoming this? Like, how do you think that they are going to work as the stupid brigade moving forward?
I mean, I don't have a lot of faith. I don't see it. I just don't think there's a lot of strategy there that they put forth. It's not a lot of like layered thinking that I see or that they explain to the audience. So I don't know. I don't really see it. I mean, I think they'll do definitely fine. Absolutely. But do I think it's kind of like anyone's winning game? No. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And so what's his name? Corey was saying that now Wes is going to be coming after Nelson and Corey as opposed to like maybe Fessy or whatnot. So, I mean, Fessy kind of played his allies, you know what I mean? And I guess he's saying like he doesn't care because it's a solo game and he wants to win that money. But I feel like a lot of people are forgetting that if you stab and burn people, like they are coming to get you. And if they get the opportunity to take that strike, they're going to try to get you out of the game. And so I would wish that people were more cognizant of the fact that, like, yes, you might be making these big, bold moves, but you might get karma coming back to bite you in the butt there. And so we'll see how it all plays out, of course. So the challenge sign on the wall is activated, and it's going to be the first, what's it called? The daily of the day. And so it is called roadkill. There was the first explosion that I saw this season, because I don't remember seeing explosions the last 2 episodes, when I thought there was going to be one in episode 1 for sure, when they solved those codes. And episode 2, what was the daily?
The ice thing.
Oh, yeah, and then definitely what? Oh, there could have had an explosion there when you put the third... What's it called? A bomb?
True.
The third thing in there. Anyway, so there's no explosions before, but today there's an explosion for roadkill. TJ comes out of this Big Mac truck that has seeming like an arena on top of it or something. And basically what they had to do was, while the truck is going 50 miles per hour, they're going to be without harnesses, wrestling to toss the other person off into a cargo net on the side. Jonathan, we were watching this together. How did you feel about how this competition was structured?
That's, it wasn't super fun to watch. I don't think. Like, it was fine, and it was definitely like cool. I mean, they do these things on these trucks where they move and all the time. It's very fear factor-ish, but scary. I was like, is that cover enough? Does that go high enough? Are they not going to, like, it's a little dangerous for sure. But and then, as I was saying to you earlier, like, the structure, the fact that not just one, but 2 people got injured, to me kind of says that it's like really not safe enough that they should have been doing. And there's always the illusion of danger that should be present with these things, but you could still be pretty safe overall when you have all these people and they're just 2 of them hurt themselves. It's just to that extent too, that they've hurt themselves, where it potentially might cost them the game. I mean, it's yeah, I don't know. It was decent, but I don't mind kind of something a little safer, or if they were wearing harnesses, I mean, I guess they really couldn't, because they might be like strangle themselves in it, especially if they're flying off the end. But it just wasn't super exciting for me.
Well, and that's something I learned in acting class like many years ago, was you don't want to watch things that you feel are dangerous. So that's why you don't bring, like, even if they're plastic knives or guns to performances, because if it doesn't look safe, the audience can't enjoy what they're watching. And so I think that might have been where I was sitting when I was watching it, because I was like, okay, like I'm waiting for something bad to happen. And firstly, we see Nicole. So Nicole she's with Devon. She was paired up. They were going against Cam and Kyle. Is it Cam and Kyle? Yeah, Cam and Kyle. It was the first commercial break. This is when our technical difficulties stopped. Michelle couldn't see this little bit of the episode. So basically what happens, they're going at it, and Nicole she starts saying, like, oh, stop. And Cam's like, what? Like, what do you mean stop? And, like, so she kind of pauses, but then goes back at it. And Nicole kind of continues going at it with her. Eventually, it seemed as though Cam won, but her shoulder was actually popped out of the socket, and she's just kind of standing there, and you could see, like, the bone of, like, the shoulder, like, thing is popped out. And so she's like, well, fine, just pop it back in. I want to go back up there and compete. But they're like, Slash, you're going to go to the hospital right now.
But the time ran out. They timed out. They didn't.
I didn't see that.
They didn't give Cam the win, right? So it's like, I didn't love that, because I'm like, because she was taken out, Nicole, it didn't allow Cam to have the win, because Cam's not going to throw someone off the side with her shoulder popping out. So I didn't think that was super fair.
Yeah, I agreed. I'm
like, it should have been by default the win, but she's like, oh, I knew I could do it with one arm and just to hold out. I'm like, no, Cam was like, kind of like, okay, what am I supposed to do? Are like, we calling this, or so it just wasn't super fair.
I didn't think it was fair, but I definitely, if I were Nicole, though, I would have been scared when you saw, like, Cam was ready to go. Like, she looked really scary to me. Nicole was saying, like, oh, she's strong. She thinks she's stronger than Cam, but Cam is bigger than her. But I was more scared of Cam if I was in that position than if I was going to be going up against Nicole. So definitely she had like the upper hand there.
Yeah, and honestly, I read some tea earlier today. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was like Lolo Jones was tweeting about Cam and Nicole because we saw in the preview that they were going to be against each other, and something about how like Nicole's really fierce. She doesn't get enough credit. And like if someone in weight classes, when you're doing actual boxing or whatever kind of fighting, it's by weight. So like if someone's 40 pounds heavier or whatever, like automatically that's going to beat over the other person. Essentially just saying that like Nicole, like it wasn't a fair matchup and that they should have been matched. The competitors should have been matched based on like their sizes. And Nicole kind of like commented and being like, thanks for the support, blah, 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 blah. But what I think, and I think a lot of other people who were commenting agree, it's like, have you watched the challenge? Derek? Derek is the tiniest guy maybe ever that's competed. He beat Cyrus, who's like 4 times his size. He's beat like, there are situations where the person who is smaller in that kind of combat has won through smarts and strategy and whatever it is. And so I just thought that was just so like Lolo, I don't know. I just thought that wasn't sportsmanship like to like give credit where credit's due. It's like Cam was strong enough to do that. Like it wasn't like she was just standing there doing nothing. Like
it's like seeing it from an athletic side of it rather than more strategic, because you know, in a competition like that, being low to the ground and, you know, being smaller can actually really help you. And so, I don't know. I would, and you're right. It's the challenge. Things are unfair. It depends on what partner you pick. It wasn't, you know, just based on one individual person, the win. So, I mean, what I would have liked to have seen, which would never happen, is that once you've thrown off your person, you could then go help your partner if you choose to. And
I was hoping that too.
I thought it was a thing, and then you both stand on the top being like, we're the winners. It did cross my mind as well. So maybe they'll think about that for next time. I totally agree that it was kind of annoying Lolo having that stance, just because like I get where she's coming from. Like people, it should be fair weight wise. But like think about Jay and Rogan last season. Like that wasn't really a fair matchup. People are usually hoping that they're able to go in an unfair matchup so they can win. And that's just how the challenge is. It's not fair all the time. It just depends on where your body and how you are genetically made up and how much exercising you do, if something's going to favor you or not. And what are you going to say? Like, oh, well, they're dumb, though. So they should only go against the other dumb people when they do any challenges with puzzles and whatnot. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. And if you are at a disadvantage, figure out your way to win, because there's always a way for you to win. So
Jordan has one hand, like, you know?
Exactly.
I rewatched his rope elimination with Josh last night because I was in a bad mood. And so I watched it and it just brought me so much joy. The like strategy behind it. Woo! What a good elimination.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally just disagree with that. But she's coming from a different ball game of competition. And so people are evenly matched where she is, like your weight classes and this and that. But I don't know, would you want to watch the challenge heavyweight edition?
No, you want to see people get like thrown across the room because they have no chance. So you're like, yeah, I thought that was going to happen.
Or you want a huge underdog story.
Exactly.
You know, you want a Jay beating a CT. Like you want something crazy to happen.
And I think that also goes on to what I've been saying is where they've been moving away from with the challenge. What I really like is that it's ordinary people doing extraordinary things for money. And so getting into weight classes and making sure everybody's equally matched is taking it away from the everyday person coming in and playing this game for money. So that's why I don't really care for the American Ninja Warrior style competitors, because they don't have the same heart in the same way that I appreciate in the show. So sorry, Lolo, not really down. Who has Lolo? Is it Fanta?
I think Fanta has Lolo, yeah.
Yeah, I'm over her from that comment. Definitely. Oh, I did watch a little bit of Devon. Did I send this to you guys? Devon talking about the after show with competitors. And I believe somebody said that Lolo and Nom had kind of rolled around a little bit before, and that it was kind of finishing off in the closet. And maybe he kind of got like a little bit weirded out because the cameras were there and people were watching. But it seems as though they might have had like a little bit of a tussle. I don't know how tussle it was, but that's about something like that. That's what information I picked up. I'm going to watch more and read more about it for sure. Where are we now? So who went up next? Yeah, Cam says that she's not scared to go against anybody, and I definitely like that attitude that Cam has, that she's not scared. I did want to see her play through this elimination though, because I haven't seen her compete in a while. Was the last time she wasn't on 30? Was she on 35?
She wasn't on last season. Was she on last season?
I don't think so.
But she was on the 2 seasons before that. Both of them.
Yeah, because she was part of Team USA.
Yeah.
But I don't remember her last competitive moment, you know?
Well, really, like that season was kind of different because they kept winning, so they didn't really have to go in. The season before that, she did have to go in quite a few times. Anyway.
So anyways, I did just want to see her compete because I know she talks a big game, and I want to see it backed up sometimes, you know what I mean? Especially if it's been like a couple years since I've seen her in the ring. So I was looking forward to see her. I wanted to see her throw Nicole around. I did. And so it's unfortunate that Nicole popped out her shoulder.
Yeah, I wanted Cam to beat her like without her getting injured because I just strongly don't like Nicole that much. But in the end, you know, obviously we don't want anyone to get permanently injured or anything. So
absolutely. I mean, does she have like a problem with her shoulder though? Like it would seem so easy for it to pop out. Like, I don't know. I didn't like that.
What she does and stuff, I'm sure at some point usually when you have injuries like that at her age, it's a recurring kind of a situation and it's likely to happen again.
So the next matchup was Natalie and Wes and Nany and Josh. Did you have any hope for Nany and Josh winning this competition?
I didn't want to have hope.
This is probably like matchup that Josh has been like, oh, everybody wants to see this matchup. And you're just like, actually just want to see you get beat by Wes.
So, I missed this one. So what happened?
Oh, we didn't see this one yet. Okay. So it was nothing really happened. Natalie was saying that Nany was quite feisty and the little Tasmanian devil, so it was kind of hard to pick her up and throw around. But Natalie definitely seemed to have a strength advantage way over Nany, but Nany definitely put up a fight. I don't remember Josh and Wes. How did that go down, Jonathan?
So Josh kind of had the upper hand, but Wes had said that, and kind of Wes went off first, but he had his foot still on the platform, and that's kind of what's in the rules. So, and Wes was saying in his confessional that, you know, Josh was so focused on just getting him off and not actually focusing on the rules of the game, which is being the last person touching that kind of element. So that's why he didn't get the point. I mean, if it was just kind of like who dominated it in the last couple seconds, yeah, it was Josh who ultimately threw him off. But, you know, he wasn't the last one on the platform. So
well, it's kind of like that competition with Jenna when they're on those platforms and they had to like throw people off. Like it's whoever's off first, you know, like yes, he might have put the momentum forward, but if
like sometimes it's like who touches the net or water or whatever first, but then other times it's, you know, who's on last, and that's like literally the difference of winning and losing sometimes. I mean, sometimes. So you need to really pay attention to that and focus on that. So, and Wes was absolutely right. It's a detail that cost him that win.
Yeah.
So Natalie and Wes did win their round. More explosions. Ooh, I said. And yeah, basically Josh wanted Wes so badly, and it was pretty annoying. A little bit of an eye roll. Oh, thank you, Michelle, for that eye roll. You actually look like your little the avatar that I made for you when you did that right now, because she's wearing the tube just like that. So cute. Darrell and Amber B is going to be versus Gabby and Leo. Were you there for that yet?
No, I missed this one too.
So I don't know if I blinked, but I don't know why I didn't see this matchup. Was it just like?
Well, the only real thing that came of it was that Amber revealed that she has training in, what was she doing? Like 5 years in, like she had some sort of training that nobody knows about, so which would make her a tougher competitor.
Is this Amber B? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
it must have blinked. I don't remember that.
Yeah, I can't remember what the training was, but she's like, yeah, what no one knows about me is I actually have X amount of years in blah blah blah. So, yeah, but she got it. So there you go.
So Gerald and Amber won because that's the only one I didn't write anything down. Maybe I went.
Yeah, I believe so. I think that's kind of how it came about. She talked about it, and then there was some tussling, whatever, and she got the point.
But what about Leo versus Darrell? Because isn't Leo like a?
Darrell was saying that he was worried-ish about going up against Leo just because of the fact that he has a wrestling background, but he's like, but I still think I'm going to take it. You know, typical Darrell fashion. I really don't remember this matchup, but I feel like it was one of those like really quick ones. Maybe I was writing something down.
No, it was a quick one. Yeah, it was like not anything super exciting happened, so they just kind of like, yeah.
It's so interesting. Amber B, I was like, oh right, she's on the show. Like, there's people that I just like have not seen very much of. Jarrell, I'm like I love Jarrell. I'm like, I need to see more of him. So
I mean, he's going to come to the forefront probably soon. Now that they're starting to lose people to gang up on. I wouldn't be surprised if they start becoming more of a target, as we kind of talked about already. So did you see Lolo and Nam versus Teresa and Jay?
No.
They dominated.
So, there was no chance here. Do you remember how that matchup went?
It was just like complete domination. So,
yeah, poor Jay and Teresa didn't have a chance against Lola and Nam at all.
What a bad matchup. That's so unfair.
I know. Are you pulling a Lolo right now? Like, did she say that and be like, oh, it wasn't fair because I was going against Teresa, who's probably like 50 pounds lighter than I and 5 inches shorter.
Yeah, like why you're saying then your win makes no sense because you all like Jay is so, oh my God, that's so funny. They're a pretty small team, Teresa and Jay.
Mm-hmm. Small, but feisty, but small.
So they just had no chance? Like they just got destroyed?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, they didn't really show the whole thing. It was kind of like blah, blah, pop, and then like winner.
Oh, yeah, exactly. They would be good in like maybe an endurance competition or like running or, you know, that kind of stuff, because then, you know, that muscle weighs you down, and a lot of muscle people don't have that kind of breath that takes them far. You know, even like Paulie in a few seasons ago where he just completely was devastated on the ground. But yeah, so no, they completely dominated that, and it was another quick one.
Very. This is to answer before Jonathan's question. I think so because TJ said that you need to protect that skull when you want it. So if a person gets eliminated who has a skull, then their skull is back up for grabs. So, or wouldn't be up for grabs; it would be given to the other person that beat them, I would assume.
Yeah.
So Sam has probably a very unpopular opinion. Be careful, Sam. Sam says that she doesn't like Cam's. Is this which Sam? This is female Sam, correct? If I'm misgendering you, let me know. She said that she doesn't like Cam's game. Her only strategy seems to be taking out champs when they could benefit her in her game. In actuality, which is something that I've been saying, is that I think that Cam has a lot of power in this game right now. And I think that taking out only the champs right now is, yes, I understand that, like, oh, you want everybody else that haven't won before to get an opportunity. But like, do you want someone that's never even been on the show before to win that opportunity? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I would be personally one to want to play still the game with the people that are veterans, because you can conspire with them a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a revolt of all the newbies and they just go and turn on them eventually when they have the numbers, you know?
But I think Cam feels like she can control the newer people a lot more. I mean, you know, she's fairly new in the grand theme of things herself. And so, you know, but old enough where she has that respect. So, I mean, it's she's Killer Cam, but it's self-appointed. But it's, you know, I think when I see that kind of stuff, I'm like, yeah, I wonder if she thinks that she's just more of a leader amongst the newer ones than she is amongst the veterans.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I do get it from a moral standpoint too. It's like standing up for the fact that like I want someone new to win. And that's what I'm going for. But if she wants herself to be number one, I don't think this is necessarily the path, because when you have people who are newbies like Lolo and Nam, and you're keeping them along when you could have at least been pitting them against CT and Ashley or them against like other big teams, it's like those people will cost you the winnings. Whereas you can work with Wes, you could have worked with Wes, who has never like thrown Leroy under the, and if he was going to throw someone who was his friend under the bus, he wouldn't do it until it's the very end and it's him or them. Like he's not going to be throwing these people in early. Whereas the newbies, yeah, they're with you for now, but like I just think it's a mistake to keep Fessy and Anissa completely unharmed, Lolo and Nam completely unharmed. Like there's a lot of big players this season, and it's just a little strange that she's been so laser focused on just the Wes situation.
Absolutely. Like, and I really think that she's in a very good position, but I feel that she's going to become a big target amongst all the other people that she doesn't have a strong bond with. Like, yeah, they're voting with you. Yeah, they're doing what you say, which is great. But they also don't really have that much loyalty towards you and would turn on you in a heartbeat because they also want to win this game. So, and they're good. You know, they're strong competitors, even though they're not that familiar with, you know, the challenge stuff. I don't think that you can count out Lolo from beating Cam in an elimination. Like that is a big possibility. And so the fact that it kind of all started because CT didn't want Cam as a partner, I think that it may cost her down the road her win because she's not realizing that there's some dangerous people that are rookies in this game. And so I don't know. I agree though that I feel that she needs to maybe change up her strategy. But it's working so far. So next up, we have Tori and Corey versus Liv and Mishi. I really didn't think that Tori and Corey were going to have a problem here. Didn't really remember this competition either, this little battle.
I watched this one. This is one where Liv got hurt.
Right. I couldn't see how she got hurt or where she got hurt.
It was kind of Tori, like the way Tori kind of pushed her off, I think. Like, because then Tori was in the confessional afterwards being like, you know, I feel kind of bad. Like, I don't want her to get hurt. And then she's like, I don't actually feel that bad. And I'm like, ugh, Tori. I roll my eyes at Tori now because I just see everything through such a false lens now. It's so hard for me to like believe her now as like a nice person. I know she still is a nice person, but like, it's just, yeah.
I like Tori. I mean, I think she's one of the more normal people in the house, but I also don't follow all the backstory and what goes on and whatnot. But I also know, being in the industry, that a lot of the stories and what people say and what people don't say, I mean, you never get the full story anyway. So, but I thought it was really dangerous that the netting was as big as it was, because you could, if you caught a limb as you're going off and then the rest of your body weight just takes you somewhere else, that's definitely when things could pop out. And, you know, I was really surprised that it was that big of gaps where you could fit full, you know, arms and legs and stuff in there. So, I mean, who knows what happened? We didn't actually, I think, fully see when when it took place. But I did notice that both times that someone was hurt, a person tried to console them by touching that limb that they were hurt. I was like, why is that your go-to?
But Corey and Tori did want to show these rookies their introduction to the challenge. So I did a little mini eye roll there. Tori's a decent competitor. I haven't seen her be as amazing as she has been at times, but
no, I really like, this is the thing. I was such a Tori stan. I think it was that I liked her too much. So like it was so easy for her to fall in my eyes because I had her on too much of a pedestal. I think I like really was a huge stan of her for a long time. And I don't despise her or anything like that, but like, I don't know. She's not as, I don't know. It's tough. There's no Cara. It's like, who am I supposed to hate on here? You know what I mean?
That was me and Cara Marie, like back many years ago when it just seemed like everyone was against her, and she just like fought really hard and to make it further. And I really enjoyed her. And then the last bunch of years, not so much. But yeah.
Ooh, yes, definitely not a Cara Maria stan. Is she not coming back to the show? Like, have you heard any tea about that?
I actually, I don't think she's going to be coming for now. I think she'll be back at some point. But I actually was doing some digging today while I was bored. And like, I don't know, like, okay, I, similar to you, Jonathan, really liked her, felt bad for her when people were bullying her. Then she kind of got too much, whatever, started to not like her as much. She took a break. Seems like it's been good for her to not be on the show. And there's this like troll page that like posts all her and Polly's cute videos and pictures and stuff. And they do seem so cute and happy together. Like they actually seem like a really good couple. And it's crazy because I really did not hated them on the show, but in life, I think they seem totally happy now. I don't think they need to come back, honestly.
Well, I mean, she has $500,000, a ranch in Montana. Like, yeah. I'm sure they're living a pretty decent life.
Do you watch their TikToks?
No. I've seen the one right after Cody won Big Brother. Is the only one I've seen recently.
Oh, I don't even know if it's theirs. It's Polly's, and he's just so in love with himself, as many people who are on TikTok are. But it's just, and you do see Cara Marie in the background here or there, or whatever. But he has so many videos of just like him, in
those short shorts,
off, yeah, and that terrible hair, and it's just,
Should we find it? Oh, I don't have my phone by me.
It's just like you see her in the background, and I agree with you. They do obviously spend a lot of time with each other. It's not like it's a distanced relationship. They're obviously live together, or whatever. But yeah, he's too much for me. I don't know.
He is definitely unhinged. Like, I don't know. Even on Big Brother, before he was ever on the challenge, his like transformation on Big Brother, I was like, something's up,
Sorry, I'm just reading this comment. I just got to bring it now. Carolyn says, Wes and Kyle are actually friends outside the show to the point where last season he had to give Wes a suppository. They didn't show it on TV, according to Kyle on his Instagram page last night. LOL.
Okay, hold on. Why does anyone else have to give you a suppository?
Well, maybe he couldn't get the angle. Like, I don't know. Maybe he was drunk.
You can give it to yourself.
Or maybe they're doing it for the camera. Like, that's a video. That's pretty close.
Lol. I did see that.
The suppository or the actual story?
No, the comment. Yeah.
So Natalie says, didn't Nicole get injured on Vendettas in the finals? I think she has been injured before. Was it the same injury?
I don't remember what it was, but I remember she had to leave during the final.
Natalie, you can remember if it's the same injury. I'm just wondering if it's a recurring injury, and then maybe she just needs to be DQ'd from the challenge.
Hurt your body once, it's never going to fully 100% heal as it was, and you're going to likelihood of it coming back is greater, obviously.
We're getting there, London, but thank you for joining us here. Another episode, another reason why I don't like Josh. Lol. Yep. Yes, it was her ankle. Okay, thank you, Adrian. Adrian, how do you have all the facts for everything?
Adrian knows everything about everything.
Everything. So impressive. So impressive. I'm like, I don't remember these things. Okay, so Amber, Adrian also says that at least Amber B got 2 confessionals tonight, and Amber B didn't get any. I only noticed the 1 confessional. I might wrote it down later on. I was like, whoa, Amber B's getting a little bit of a confessional here. Put on some makeup. I definitely noticed the second one, but the first one, I guess it was
2 different hairstyles and everything. It was nice.
Was the first one near the first competition? Why did I miss it? Like when she was doing the daily?
I think so. It was definitely earlier on. Like I just remember them like the 2 totally different looks, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because her hair was up in the second one.
Yeah.
I only saw the second one. Ooh, more tea. Natalie says last week they edited out the Lolo versus Amber B fight. Natalie, say more, please. What fight? What was it about? Was it over Nom? Because Nom did make it seem as though he also finds Amber B attractive, and Lolo does seem a little bit jealous of Amber. So is it over Nom?
If you remember, Lolo and the Big Brother house as well, she's not afraid to kind of get into it with people. So I'd love to see her in an argument with someone.
Yeah, they need to show us these fights because we've got points. Like I'm Amber on my team, and I get 5 points per fight.
Do you have the full tally? Because like we forget.
Well, yeah, it's pretty easy this time. Fight points. We've got. Did we get to the fight yet?
No, we'll get there. But in general, can we actually do the actual tally and then so I can write it down?
Yes.
Perfect. Adrian says to Natalie, same with Amber M and Liv and Michi triangle. Whoa, is that a thing? Because they don't want to affect Liv's mental health. I didn't know.
I did see, well, because in the remember like at the very beginning of the show, there was previews and it showed Amber M kissing Michi. But I just figured that was going to be happening later in the season. But do you think maybe they just decided not to air it? Like,
why though?
And it's weird because no offense, but when has MTV really cared about people's mental health? Like they've shown like some of
this. It's not like
interesting. I mean, there's obviously something that I don't know. I think is the truth.
Adrian agrees with Michelle. I like Tori in her rookie season because of how badass she is, but it's because of her relationship with Jordan where I got mixed feelings. I liked them together, actually. I did, but something's going on right now that I'm not as big of a Tori fan. I don't know. What is it? What is it?
Tori was with, what's his name, Derek?
Yeah.
Initially Derek, yeah.
Yeah, and she was definitely like for me anyway, in my eyes, was like the one that you're like usually like one more than the other. And so it was like, I was like, oh, Tori. And then, so that her with Derek was a good era for Tori.
Yes. But then I always had it in the back of my mind that Jonathan, you watch Are You the One, correct?
Yeah.
So you remember the guy, I think his name was Mike. And then he also made an appearance. He had that big blowout. He ended up getting kicked off the show. He was with Freckles. What's her name?
Amanda. And
they were a thing on not X on the Beach. I said Are You the One though, didn't I? Or did I?
Yeah, you said it. Yeah.
So Are You the One? They were kind of a thing, and then they got into a big fight. And then I think Mike said some terrible things, and so he left the show. And then
I remember this.
They kind of broke up or whatever. But then he made an appearance on The Real World, one of the more recent seasons of The Real World, and he got kicked off, I believe, for making racist remarks. And then Tori was dating him. And I was like, what we know of this person, he's not like a catch, you know? So I was always kind of like, I don't know about your picker. You know? So I just was always just like wary of Tori's motives for dating people because it seems as though it's.
Sometimes people are just like, like that in relationships like that. I know people who are wonderful people and the friends that they surround themselves with are awful. And you're like, how do you not see it? So, I mean, I don't want to super defend Tori. I don't know her at all, obviously, but I mean, it could just be who she's selecting. And
no, it's totally fair. And she does have some good friends too, right? She's tight with Anissa. Like there's obviously something about her that's cool and chill. Otherwise,
Have either of you taken a peek at their podcast?
I haven't.
Michelle, this is a shocker. I thought you would have been all up in that grill.
I just didn't want to have, maybe I'll go back and listen after. I just don't want to have
your opinions.
I don't think I'm going to have the same opinions as them. And so I want to watch the episodes first. And I also just kind of forgot about it, to be honest.
And for me, and just to piggyback on that sentiment, I like doing this first before I go hear everybody else's opinion, because sometimes I agree with people, but maybe how I bring it across or share it with you guys, I want it to be coming from me as opposed to coming from somebody who already had their own opinion shared that I agree with, and then I'm retelling it. So I haven't watched it yet myself. I did hear that it's a little bit more explaining the show as opposed to having opinions of what's going on, strategy wise and social dynamics. And so if we want maybe more tea of things that we didn't see, maybe to be looking over there to find out some extra info. So I might do that, to be bringing in extra pieces for the next week, but maybe not like on the consistent week-to-week basis. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so this is a good question. Natalie says, how would Paulie do without Cara on the challenge?
He'd probably get into a lot of fights still.
Do you think he would if they weren't together, how would he do? Or if he's just on it?
He's on the show and she is not on it.
I understand that does change things. If he's still with her.
Yeah, if he's not with her, I mean, it would be, I'm assuming that he would definitely have some sort of showmance, romance, whatever. But if he's with her, I don't know. I feel like that might be better for him because it kind of frees him of trying to have that kind of bravado of just where I have to protect my girl and stuff, and he has that kind of short man kind of syndrome.
Yes. I mean, I would prefer it. I think that he would be more palatable by himself. I don't enjoy the side of him. Yes, I would love my partner to protect me or stand up for me, but I feel like in the way that he does it, it makes me uncomfortable. And so not having that element of his personality be brought out, I'd probably enjoy him a little bit more because I don't mind him being I can win all these things, and he usually does pretty well in challenges. I just don't like him getting into fights with people to stand up for Cara Maria.
Yeah, we've seen it too many times.
But Adrian said one confession was during the daily and the other was during the elimination. We need more Amber B, but she's flying under the radar. I mean, she's going to come to the surface soon. Probably, I bet you next week, because we're talking about her so much. She made her appearance now in 2 confessionals. Big Dog Wes is gone. Darrell is a competitor, and I wouldn't be surprised if they went for him. You said it already.
I'm happy because I want them. I like that team. Mm-hmm. I like Amber B. She didn't get a full chance on Big Brother. And I obviously love Jarrell, so I'm cool with them being under the radar for now and making it pretty far. I want to see them go far.
Me too. I just don't know if they will, if they're only targeting champs.
True.
Adrian says her and Jordan were a good couple. Don't get me wrong, but Jordan has been called out for some problematic things he said on Real World and the challenge. Absolutely. His fight, I loathed Jordan when he was having those fights with Nia. It was pretty uncalled for. In defense of kind of the Real World, we'll say, they wanted these kind of situations to come up, and they kind of made some talking points about it, and there was an apology, and both Nia and, is it Nia or Naya? Naya. Naya and Jordan, I believe that they did an Instagram live or something where they discussed that whole fight that they have, and so yes, he has been problematic in the past. I don't know if he's changed, but he's definitely addressed it a few times. So, what do you guys think about Jordan and his problematic behavior? Jonathan?
I don't know.
Yeah?
I don't have much to add with it. I mean, yeah, it's Jordan's not someone that I love, so.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's not just that, because he had his problematic stuff with Naya. He had his problematic stuff with Jemmy as well. And yeah, I definitely have seen some bad sides of him for sure. I think as a competitor, he's one of the best competitors there's ever been in terms of the challenge specifically. But as a human, it's hard for me to tell because obviously I don't know the real truth, but I've definitely seen some not great things. And then some good things too. I don't know.
Yeah, I will say he's someone that when you look, you're oh, this is someone that I want to like more than I do maybe. And you want them to do better with their life choices. But yeah, that's the most that you can get from me from that.
Fair. So we're still on the daily. We have Amber and Nelson are the next 2 to be competing against Casey and Leroy. I was pretty sure that Casey and Leroy were going to win in this case. Amber seems quite small, and Nelson just never to be seen as that good. I know he's won some stuff, and people say he's a comp beast, but I never think of him being a good competitor for whatever reason.
Who says he's a comp beast?
I don't know. People are always coming for me saying that
He's doing okay sometimes. Like, he is kind of strong. And he had that one season where he made the final and like he almost beat CT or something. Like, he's done fine, but he's not a comp beast. What do you mean?
No, I don't find him to be reliable is basically what you're saying. Like, I can't count on him to know that he's going to do well on most.
No, he's up in the air. He's a 50-50 shot.
I count on him making it like halfway or 3/4 of the way, like most times he appears. I'm like,
and when the game for Corey, I don't know. I'm not sure about him. But Casey and Leroy win.
Can I just say, like, that comment though? Give up your game for Corey. I've heard that so much, and that's because I feel like that's what they say so often. But I'm like, you didn't, because you could have won. Like, you didn't walk out. You didn't give up your game for Corey. You're like, you know what? It's gonna be me. You could have still won.
True.
That's so fair. That's so true. He sacrificed himself to go into an elimination to guarantee Corey a spot in the final. He still could have won his own spot.
Yeah, but that's not what they say. Like when they describe it, right?
Because true. You're so right. You caught me. I bought into it, but he did give up, as Michelle said. He wouldn't have had to go in there and potentially go. So he did that so Corey didn't have to face that particular elimination. So he put himself in harm's way to save his friend. So he didn't give him this game. Whatever, Jonathan.
And then Corey couldn't even win it. But anyway.
I don't think he could have. Nope. So CT and Big T are going against Aneesa and Fessy. Another mismatched weight-wise. So Aneesa is definitely, I would assume, would overtake Big T. CT and Fessy, though, I wasn't sure how it would go down. I didn't even write down how it ended.
It didn't end. They timed out.
Okay.
Yeah. Aneesa pushed her over, but the other two were timeout. Yeah.
Aneesa didn't want to hurt her though, but she still wanted to win. I mean, everybody loves Big T, and so I think it's actually probably good for CT being with her because we might talk about it a little bit later, but at the fight point, like she was calming him down like a girlfriend. She was calming him down like she was his girlfriend. So I'm just saying, I might be seeing something here. And so, CT and Fessy timed out. Big T, this was her first fight. Have either of you been in any physical altercations?
No, I'm like her too. I mean, I'll cut you with my words, and that's all that, and my looks, but that's all that needs to be had. To me, that's like, it's actually weaker because I feel like I don't need it to go there because I can outsmart you other ways. And to me, that's more challenging than having physical genetic, what, you were given, as well as, some people obviously do put the work in the gym. I don't, but,
I love COVID that you don't go to the gym anymore.
Yeah. But even when I go to the gym, it's not pretty, but, So, I mean, to me, it's just more like, if you can outsmart someone, that's the real win, and that's kind of what I go in. I've never been in a position where I've needed to fight someone. However, I do have that like crazy mentality where I think I can take you. It doesn't matter. I'm 5'9", and you could be 6'8", and I'm like, I can take you. But I've never had to go there, and I'm sure I could not take someone who's 6'8". In my head, I'm like, I'll just.
Well, people are scared of you though for thinking that you can. They're like, oh, maybe, like if he says that he could take me, like I'm actually.
I don't know why I had that. I'm like, I'll just go for the eyes. I'm always ready. It never happened, but I'm always ready.
Go with the balls. Go for the eyes, Michelle. You laughed a little bit. You had a little bit of a scrap.
No, not since I was like a child. Like, I agree. I mean, not that I can cut you with my words because I'll probably mess those up too. But I definitely would fail in a fight. Like, oh my gosh, my sister boxes and she keeps trying to get me to go with her, and I'm like, there's no way. Like, I've done some fake fighting on stage, like stage combat, and I got into a fight with a girl at a club once when I was like 18, but like it wasn't a full out brawl. It was like a hair pull moment. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't anything crazy. So no.
Me neither, guys. I'm a word fighter for sure. I'm sure people have wondered why I've not been in more fights, but I do get out of most with a tongue lashing for sure. So all of us are very new to fighting. I did for 3 months take some boxing classes with my friend, and it was really funny because we both hated it. We liked doing the drills. Like I liked punching the bag, and I liked doing all the fancy footwork and the ropes and all that stuff. Like I liked the training of it. But then we were being used as kind of like punching bags, but people with people that were training for fights. And so I remember one person, like she was obviously way better than me because like I've never really hit somebody before. And like she came and she hit me really hard. And I actually saw red. I got really angry and I went back at her and I like, definitely give her a few good punches. So I definitely realized I do have that fight in me. If someone hits me, I did see red and I came back at her, but I didn't like that. I didn't like sitting in that energy of like kind of unhinged rage. It was weird. So yeah, I only did that once. And then I think we did like 10 out of the 12 weeks and we're like, we don't want to go back. Let's not go back. We just didn't go back because we hated it so much. So that's my fighting.
Did you do wrestling or anything in school? Like,
no, I was a dance major, so I got to take dance for any phys ed.
Oh, yeah, we had to do like wrestling and stuff like that. It was a Catholic school and the guys did, the girls didn't, but I always did well in that only because I was able to like, again, I feel like outsmart people and endurance wise outlast them. So
Never on the wrestling team, not me. So TJ was impressed with this daily. The top 3 teams that were able to throw their teammates off the fastest without timing out was Nam and Lolo, Leroy and Casey, and Natalie and Wes. They're the only ones that actually even completed the mission, really. So the winning team in the fastest time was Leroy and Casey. I was happy that Leroy got this win here. I was pretty pleased.
Yeah, 5 points for me.
Oh, we've been waiting for that, huh? You're just like, yes.
And then do you have Casey or does Fanta have Casey?
I don't remember my list, to be honest. I think it's in another. Oh, is it here?
I think you have Casey.
Why don't I even remember my list? Is it that bad? Do I have Casey, really?
I don't know. I think.
I don't know. Well, I'll check it up for next week or for next year.
Yeah, I was happy for Leroy to have a win. I don't know. Personally, it's upsetting for me that he's partnered with Casey.
Oh, no, sorry. Fanta has Casey. Sorry, go ahead.
Fanta has Casey. To me, Casey winning is like the same as Fessy winning, kind of.
A big who cares?
Like, no, just a big, like, she's going to do whatever Fessy would want to do anyway, and she's going to not give any information, but just be quiet and listen to what everyone else is saying. And I don't know. I was happy for Leroy to have the win, but I was really hoping that Wes and Natalie would win it because they would never have thrown in Leroy.
Never.
Like Leroy would be 100% safe. It would have been so epic to have Natalie and Wes win one. Like, so I was upset. And from that point, I was kind of like, oh, this is not going to be great.
I know. And wait, so who did? Oh, they went against Amber and Nelson, which is a lot easier of a team.
Way easier
than Nani and Josh. So, man, like if that was just set up a little bit differently, definitely would have had a Wes and Natalie win here. So the cards weren't in Wes and Natalie's favor at all, or Wes's anyways. So Casey and Leroy are the double agents. Leroy knows that the Big Brother Alliance is strong, and he doesn't think that he can trust his partner, Casey, which I think, like, why aren't they trying to do things to build trust with each other? Like, I wouldn't be just sitting with a partner being like, I'm not telling my partner anything. I don't trust them. Like, wouldn't you be trying to figure out a way to work with them?
Well, no, because things are so different now, right? Like, every time you go into an elimination, it's you solo, and then you can pick whoever you want. So, like, I would still try to build a bond with my partner for sure, like CT and Big T are doing. Like, I think it's smart too. But I think on Casey's side, she already has Josh, Fessy, blah, 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 blah. She has her people. She doesn't want to make promises. I think she just doesn't want to give things away. That's her whole thing. That's what she does. Like, that's what her gameplay always is.
He's on Big Brother too.
And Big Brother, it was the exact same thing. Like, to me, it's very obvious political game. It's very obvious what she's doing. But to someone like Leroy, I don't know, he's kind of like, he kind of can tell. He's like, she's not giving too much away. And on Leroy's side, everyone knows he's working with Cam. His like best ally is obvious to everybody. And I think he's just trying to tread carefully.
Yeah, fair. I just, because what I feel is like, they might be separated as partners. So wouldn't you want to put in some work to make sure that you don't become their target when, if and when, I'm sure it's going to happen, they get broken up. And so, I don't know, I just would put in some work that him and Cam, or at least himself, is not going to be on their target list when things start shaking up a little bit. And like, I thought that they became partners in the beginning because it's supposed to be her, like the four of them kind of working together. So I'm surprised that there's so much distrust between them.
Well, I think it's also because Leroy voted the other way last week, right?
True. We haven't seen if there's any fallout from that. I thought we would have found out something about that today. Okay, hold on. Adrian's important information. Adrian, P.S. There is no new episode next week, so we might have to wait till January 6th.
That's hard. That's tough.
Long time. Tori was on Brett's from BB22's Instagram. Really?
Random.
BB22 Brett. Hold on. BB20? 2020. BB20.
BB20.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, she fixed it. Sorry. Yeah. So it's like there was an All Stars. I could see that happening though, because she's a little bit like relevancy thirsty, you know. So, she's on my team. Guys. Adrian says I get so emotional. Oh, every time I think of you. I don't remember singing that song though. Were they singing it about Josh?
I don't remember it either, and I love that song.
It must have been part of the fight, because this is when the fight breaks out, right? This is when we're at that point.
Nicole's stuff is gone. We learned that Nicole comes back in. Her injury has not made her medically clear to be able to stay in the game. Devon here wants to win this for his mom. So I'm like, since he's rogue, I was like, isn't it a women's elimination now? Like, are they just going to not have that happen? Like, what are they going to do in this situation? So I was wondering how that was going to shake out. If they would just still do a women's elimination anyways, and then like whatever, one of them decides if they want to have Devon as their partner. I don't know, but I thought that he was going to still have a women's elimination, but Nicole's gone. So you're probably happy about that, right?
I was, but I'd rather see her lose and just, rub it in her face more.
I have a harder time understanding her the more I see her in things, like the older she gets.
Yeah. She's like pulling down on that accent.
Yeah. I'm like, and not making any effort to like be understood by other people.
Well, I think that in her circle, people really understand her. And I think she forgets that like people are just like, I'm sorry, what? Like it would be funny if they started putting subtitles underneath her.
I wish they did. I don't understand her. Honestly,
her voice is so great,
and I speak another language, so
I understand her generally speaking, but it would be very funny if they put subtitles underneath her speaking. So Liv also comes back saying that they want to do some, scanning or working on her. What did she hurt? Her arm? Whatever she hurt.
Yeah, her elbow, I think it was. They thought that there might be a fracture, but they're not sure, so they'll find out tomorrow.
And so, yeah, she doesn't know yet if she's going to be able to still compete. But I guess like Nicole was so bad that she had to go home. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. It's like if you know that it's something that you need time to heal and you can't participate, you're out. But I think with Liv, it's like, honestly, I think it's likely probably a fracture if something came up on the x-ray and they're just double checking before they kick her out. So I fully expect that to happen next episode.
Well, and then actually maybe she's going to be able to stay because until she has to compete and then she has to get medically cleared, maybe. I don't know. I've never fractured anything, but I'm assuming it's a bone. I mean, it takes a while. So have any of you guys had any broken bones? So you just said no, Jonathan. Michelle?
Nothing. I broke my finger once.
No, I've never broken anything either.
And yeah, no, that's it.
Finger, I mean, you just have a splint kind of thing on your finger, but I've never really broken anything. I guess because we haven't been in any fights. We're just such princesses that we are all intact. You have tattoos? You have tattoos? No, I don't have any tattoos. Okay.
You don't have tattoos, Chantele. What?
No, you don't.
Oh, we talked about this. Yes.
None. I've always wanted them, but I've never found the one thing that I really want that I'm like, no, I'm not going to put something on just so I can say that I have a tattoo.
I like the look on other people, but I change my mind too much. And so I would never get them. And I don't have the body that I want to, like, get sleeves. I would need to have, like, awesome arms or something and, all that kind of stuff. But no tattoos for me either.
Facebook user, guess who? I'm going to guess Nicole. Nicole is who I'm going to guess here.
Definitely Nicole.
She's playing Big Brother Cheesecake. And she doesn't ever, because what you need to do when you're watching from Facebook, and if you leave any comments, you have to give permission to StreamYard to use your name and like your profile picture when it pops up here. So sometimes it doesn't even show any the actual comment. I don't know if it's people's settings, privacy settings or whatnot. And so people sometimes comment in Facebook and I have no idea. And so Nicole's comes up like this. And so this is my guess. It's Nicole.
Because I was like, this is really creepy. I don't think we should be posting.
No, I think it's Nicole. It's not
Nicole loves trolling.
Yeah, I think it's Nicole trolling. Carolyn says Wes and Devon on IG. Devon said that he and Bananas beef started all because of Corey's lies. Corey lied about slamming Tony to the ground. Corey was his partner at the time and got kicked off. Hold on. Which Corey?
Corey, like Corey and Tori, Corey.
Oh, I just saw that with a different spelling. It's making me think it's somebody else. So Corey lied and about slamming.
Hey, remember that time where he slammed Tony to the ground?
Vaguely.
There was I forget who it was, but there was a situation where someone got slammed to the ground and someone lied about it or something.
It's very vague, but it
and
was
they got kicked off, and because of it, I don't know. I'm a little confused, but I'll watch that live later if it's still on. Oh, they're probably going to delete it, but anyway.
Fine. I kind of remember it. Was that?
I remember someone being hit to the ground, and I remember Corey being involved, and I remember about them lying about. Like I do remember this situation. I just don't remember all the details. But
was this the season when Darrell went out when they did the purge before the season started? No,
could have been. I don't know.
I don't remember. He said that it cost him $1 million because of Corey. I mean, I would be annoyed by that.
I think they're just giving, yeah.
Corey was a bit of a hothead before he had children, so I can understand that Corey doing something like that and like being kicked off the show and not really caring, and Devon being pissed. I can see that for sure.
Yeah.
He said, would they allow Bananas on Big Brother, even though he has said racist comments and comments about women?
Why would they have him on Big Brother?
I mean, maybe because he's dating Morgan still, and she's a Big Brother corner.
From what I've read, she's pretty much done with reality TV. She talks about how it really had a negative effect on her mental health doing Big Brother and doing the challenge and everything. So I don't think she's going to be back. Bananas, I think, will be back, but I don't think he'd go on Big Brother. Maybe if there was a celebrity Big Brother. And that said, they've had tons of people who said racist comments and comments about women on Big Brother. So
I'd see him on The Amazing Race.
Yeah.
Oh, him and Morgan would be fun to watch, actually. I know she's not saying that she's not doing reality TV, but
they could do well. They would do well.
Is a bit different, and I would like to see their couple dynamic on a show like that. Good call, Jonathan. Let's put that into the universe.
He's smart, so you do well.
Carol says he regrets protecting Corey because now he uses his friendship. He uses his friendship now. It's necessary. Devon says he only knows Fessy for a year. That's why he is hurt.
Because essentially Corey went with Fessy instead of going with Devon.
Yeah.
Who he's been friends with this whole time. And then he kind of turned on him just to like do well in the game because Devon was so close with Wes, when it's like they were actually like had way more years and way more ties.
Mm-hmm. It's true. So the fight of the episode where the points are just being thrown about. So sorry. So Casey and CT are arguing over stove time is what I've gathered. So
one thing, Was anyone else nervous that the knife that she was using pointing was going to come into play? I was like,
It's like,
I'm going to get stabbed accidentally. Like,
well, remember I told you that like in auditions you don't bring any sharp objects because you don't want the audience to be scared.
super uncomfortable. I was like, oh, this is going to happen.
I'm like someone losing an eye. Like, what's get that knife? Like, I definitely.
I thought I'm like, is she going to be accused or kicked out? Of threatening someone with because of that. I was like worried for a second for her. Yeah.
Did you have any of these thoughts, Michelle?
Yeah, I was like, what is happening?
Well, I was trying to really figure out what's happening. So Casey was making a pizza on the stove and CT wanted to make an eggs burrito.
It was a microwavable. This is my understanding of it. I might be wrong, but it was a microwavable pizza. And then she took it over and was basically using the stove area while he was actually cooking something that belonged on the stove. So he was like, why are you in my space kind of a situation? That's what I thought it was because it was microwavable. So, yeah.
Okay. So CT does say that he kind of walks away, lets her have the moment. It seemed like it was kind of over from my understanding of whatever this little thing was. And CT does mention that they butt heads. And then Josh decides to take it upon himself to come over to tell CT that Casey was crying.
And he literally says she's legit crying. And 5 seconds later, he's like, no, I never said that.
When you're like, he's like, you know what? I want to console like Casey. So I'm going to go to CT. I was like, why don't you just, if you're so concerned with Casey, just go to Casey and make sure Casey's all right. Have that conversation. Like, why are you immediately down the hallway looking for trouble? But that's Josh.
He's like, I'm drunk. I need to get on a storyline. I need to be in this episode and be relevant. Here we go. Yeah. Like, if it weren't for these blowouts, he would never be relevant on the episode.
And they're on purpose because remember him with the pots and the pans. I mean, he can control himself. He's well aware that security's there. They're going to hold him back. It's very intentional. I see through you, Josh. I don't hate Josh, but I'm like, I see through you. I know you can definitely hold back, and you're putting on this whole show for everyone. I'm over it.
I'm definitely over it. He was our last draft pick. People were coming for us a little bit, saying that, like, I can't believe you let Josh go last after all these rookies. But Josh's game is not for me.
And as a person, just, when you lose your temper that much that you need to punch a wall or something or throw things, I've never gotten there in life, and I will never get there in life. It's just not something you can, and I've been enraged before, but I mean, control yourself. You're an adult.
I think I've thrown a phone like 3 times, maybe.
Yeah, but at some part of you is allowing yourself to do that. You know what I mean? And so, and that's fine if especially if you're by yourself or whatever. But this is all for show, and him punching the wall. I'm just so over when people do that. I'm just like big eye roll. Yeah. Yeah,
I said Josh is so embarrassing. Punch a wall, eye roll. Totally what I wrote down. So, Devon, the troll that he is, starts screaming, "Big Brother sucks!" I love Big Brother, but I think it's considered a kind of a wimpier show than the challenge.
Also, who cares?
I know.
He's literally legit chirping you, and it's so obvious what he's doing, and you're just letting yourself get riled up. Why?
Over that, it's just who cares?
I also think that Big Brother has made the most impact of any of these other games the contestants have. So I mean, it's obviously the rivalry there between that and Big Brother, specifically Big Brother, and I think that's why Big Brother was called out. But he'll take, that's who Devon is, and that's what we love him for. And then of course Josh will take any moment that he possibly can have to have some screen time.
In this fight,
screen time.
What?
Did you say scream time or screen time?
Both, really.
Sorry, Michelle, go ahead.
I was just going to say, in my opinion, for this fight, the people who get points would be obviously Josh and CT. So you get the points for that too. And then Devon. So I get points too.
We all do. Casey, she wasn't really involved.
Casey doesn't really count. She wasn't actually fighting, I don't think.
No.
Personally.
So this is where I noticed that Big T was calming CT down, and look what Adrian has to say. Is Big T the new DM to CT? Just asking. She was definitely the CT whisperer, and so seemingly is Big T at this point. So,
I mean, I'm down for them being together.
I'd ship that so hard. I love that.
I'd ship it.
So cute. Hi, Nighty. So, yeah, I saw how Wes tried to downplay him losing to Devon, even though she was upset after the match and was confused how he lost.
Oh, I get what he's saying. Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about that before we...
Say it again, though. Can you reiterate this?
Well, I mean, that's when we get to the
okay. Well,
we'll elimination
at the end. We're almost there. Anyways, yeah, they played Whitney during the fight. Oh my God, I can't believe we didn't hear this.
That's a rewatch. I'm
rewatching this because I didn't even notice.
We love that song, especially since like Drag Race Sasha Velour pulled that off. Like I listened to that song on repeat after that because it was so good. And it's like if I'm drinking and I'm like going through something emotional, I'm like, yes. Anyways, love that song. So I need to rewatch that moment and see that. Adrian, you are really on the ball. Negi says Wes is past his prime, but he got hurt. Past his prime. I don't know. I'm still interested to see what he does, though.
I'm gonna disagree with you, Queen. I'm gonna disagree with you on that. Did he get butt hurt? Yes. No, with this person.
Oh, okay. I'm like with me, Queen. I'm like I still
no. This Queen, Nighty.
I don't think he's past his prime.
No.
I always want to see him come back at this point over some of these people. I like his strategy. Laurel and Nicole rivals 4.
No, don't put that into the universe. I do not want Laurel to be stuck with Nicole as a partner. No.
What do you mean, Nighty, for the pasta? Am I like out of? I'm like, am I missing something?
No.
Okay. Oh, the pasta on the bus. Yes. Okay. So yes, I don't.
Yeah.
Bus that Tony threw out the window, and Corey really wanted to eat that pasta when they came home from the club. Okay, that's
and he slams Tony, and then says that he tripped, but then he gets kicked off.
He just like I don't know if we clotheslined him or just like socked him. But okay, yes, Nighty, I remember now. So Tori threw out Corey's pasta. He got mad and slammed Tori and retired. And said he tripped. Yes, I remember that now. Thank you. I'm like, what? Pasta? Adrian says to Carolyn, didn't Devon's vendetta with bananas start before that because Corey slammed Tony the season after the front final reckoning? Yes. Okay. Thanks, Nighty, for clearing up. That makes more sense too. So Adrian was like, I know. I was like, watch the knife. Yes, it was scary, that knife. I thought this whole scene was about the knife, and that was what was.
Oh God.
Nelly says, I thought the fight was stupid. It reminds me of the pizza fight on Vendettas.
With Marie, remember? Or was it Marie?
Probably.
Who takes the extra pizza?
The notes on leaving notes on people's bed. Is that season?
No, I don't know, but that's not what this fight's referring to. This is the pizza one where Marie steals too much pizza and then throws pizza in someone's bed. I forget which guy it was.
Yes, it's the same. It's the same.
Yeah.
We're writing the notes though. The same. Yeah. So they're writing the notes to bananas. Anyways, I can't remember how that went down exactly, but it was the same Pizzagate there as well. Since Josh just started a fight to get his 5 minutes of scream time, I'm going to change it to, as usual, yeah, eye roll. To Natalie, I also got Pastagate vibes, but without having someone being slammed to the ground. Josh looks like he wants to do it on CT, but tried it. I don't think that Josh would do it because I think he wants to be on the show too badly. I think he just wants to pretend and just like do like hold me back. Hold me back, but like the security guards are like, I'm not even like touching you.
Yeah. Oh, I've definitely seen moments where Josh has been like that, and I mean, he knows. He's like, if there's another Rivals season, if there's like enemy, whatever, it's like he needs to provide them reasons to be brought back, and that's what he does.
And especially like, why would he not want to have a fight with with CT?
Wes, like, so anybody they decide to choose for him on a rival season, like, boom. Check my IG page. Okay, it's funny. I'm totally going to check that after. Okay, hilarious. So caught up with comments, and we're almost at the end of this episode, kind of. Yeah, Josh is really embarrassing. He's always just right in there trying to get into an argument. So annoying. Second laugh of the evening was during this fight was when Devon was like, "Hey, Josh, what's 8 times 9?"
Yeah. Because he didn't know.
So basic falsification, like you know that when you're 8. Like, anyways, I thought it was really funny because like it's like, oh, the hard ones were like the 8 and 9 times table, So Devon doesn't have a partner, so he doesn't care. So he's just like doing whatever. He doesn't know how the show is going to decide what's going to happen next. So he's just trolling Josh because it's so easy to do. So yeah, he punches the wall and kicking over chairs. Eye roll. So Wes is trying to get Tori and Corey thrown in, which I think is an interesting strategy, especially since now he knows that Corey went against him. So I wouldn't really care about Tori's or Corey's feelings. What's Tori and Wes's relationship like?
I mean, I don't think they have much. I think they're fine, but they've never been like super tight. But from what I know, I don't think they have anything crazy against each other. They just have never really, I don't know, worked that closely together.
Mm-hmm. I really thought though, like right now you have Wes in such a weak position, right? And I know that I'm probably saying this because I would rather Wes stay in the game than a lot of the people that are still there. But I always feel like there's a way to keep these enemies in the game that could better your game moving forward. Now, it's kind of like you think it's so great to throw Wes down there. Cool. Chances are Wes was going to be coming back, and he'd be coming back with a skull that you probably won't want to go after him to get. So I just don't understand why people are kind of thinking a little more strategically and be like, we should maybe keep Wes here, but keep him out of the elimination. So he can't go in and get his red skull or gold skull, I don't know.
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, I think that Wes was gunning for Corey and Tori just simply because he knew at that point that Nelson and Corey had screwed him over. He figured Corey and Tori were a team you more so want to get out because they're stronger to win as a team, I guess. And it seemed like he had most people on board. What I thought was really weird was like Kyle made that whole point to be like, I'm with Wes now, but then he burns his own vote. And that confused me. He burned on Anissa and Fessy, and that's the vote. They needed his vote to get the majority. So I thought that was interesting.
So the deliberation happens. And Devon says Tori and Corey kind of just like puts it out there right from the get-go. And I guess there was a rivalry between them on second chances of Are You the One? I didn't fully remember it, but Devon, I was team Devon over team Tori that season. So I was like, whatever, Tori. And then Josh starts talking about how people fell for the smoke screen and that they want people to do their dirty work and whatnot. Like, what is Josh talking about here, Jonathan? Please just speak Josh language.
I don't know what Josh is talking about. Yeah, I don't even remember that part of the episode, and I just watched it. So I'm like, I think I was like so kind of in my head still with like thinking about the whole fight sequence that and how ridiculous all of it was that really carried it into the challenge and the end for me. So
and Josh being like, I'm gonna vote in Devon every time.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was really sort of giving that whole speech that he always does about like rule for yourselves and don't vote just because it's other people's. But like the whole point is like the rest of them were doing the dirty work of Fessy and whoever else, like all those people at that point. I thought it was interesting that they voted in Devon and Nicole instead of Wes and Natalie to like give.
They probably were hoping that it was a girls' elimination and they might be able to evade an elimination or get an automatic gold skull because of it. You know what I mean? So maybe they just wanted to see what was going to happen with.
Well, I don't know, because most people were kind of assuming it was going to be male once Devon was thrown in, like was voted in, because he didn't have to get voted in. And you're right, like throwing in Wes and Natalie when you know it's probably going to be a female elimination wouldn't be smart, because Natalie's probably going to beat whoever you throw in. So I get why, and I think it logically putting Devon and Wes against each other is the smartest move for them at this point, since they're trying to hate on Wes so much. Might as well get rid of him or his actual ally.
Yeah. Sorry, I saw that you were kind of doing a little bit of an impersonation of Josh. I think you've been working on it a bit this season. How is that going? Did you want to? Was it you doing Josh, or is it Fanta?
It's Fanta. It's not me. That was not real.
Sure. Who's yours again?
Nicole.
Okay. Can we hear it since she's gone?
No, you cannot hear it. It's not ready.
All right. So apparently, hi Tyreek, nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us here on the chat. We're almost at the end of the episode. Totally off topic, but I miss Turbo so much. I miss Turbo a little bit. I didn't like him when he got into that fight and got super angry. But I
was like picking the stuff, and he told him not to. Yeah, that lost it for Turbo for me too. I was like, another person who can't control their anger in themselves, and that drives me crazy. So I was like, no, bye.
Adrian says Josh would be the guy doing jumping jacks during a fight. Dead. Now let's just shut up, chicken Josh. Yeah, Josh is so annoying. Ugh. Nighty says Wes and Jordan went at it last season, and Tori didn't like Wes after that because he brought her up during the argument and she was mad at him. That's true.
That's true.
When he said something about like you're controlling your girlfriend or something, or she said something about Tori. I do remember.
Yeah, he did.
But who knows now that since they're not together anymore. Yeah, true. Carolyn says the message that I sent to you is about Tony's post about Fessy. I hope that's not a typo. And him possibly doing the challenge again. Please read it out loud. It's funny. Michelle, do you think you can find it?
Oh, I've already seen it. It essentially says, like, Tony posts saying things being like, I will come back to the challenge under these circumstances, and has all these points. And one of the points is like, Bananas and him have to be partners again to redeem themselves or whatever. Devon has to be there, and Kyle has to be there, and the final has to be only an eating challenge. And then he says that Fessy has to wear a shirt that says pussy on it or something. Like there's something about Fessy and pussy, and anyway, yeah.
Are we clamoring to have Tony return to the challenge?
Never. Are you kidding me? No.
I didn't think so. Are you, Jonathan?
No, no. I don't like. There's many people that
toxic
embody just certain qualities that I don't like. Tony has a lot of them.
Natalie says the challenge is a smoke show. It's true though. Like this is what you do. Like you use people to do your dirty work. That's what these social strategy games are. And when you do it effectively, you get people to do it without knowing that you're doing it. So Josh, just shut it. Well, Turbo got angry because Jordan was basically mocking his walk during World of the Worlds too. But like, also who cares, right, Turbo? But he's got $1 million or $750,000. Like, what is Turbo doesn't need to come back to the show. Like, he's probably set. Where was he from? Do you remember?
Oh, gosh, no.
I forget where he's from. Is he Portugal? No.
No.
I would remember that.
I don't know. I don't remember actually where he's from.
Like,
so time. Womp womp. Tori is mad, but I was annoyed by it. To be fair, I'm like, why not you, Tori? Who like? I'm sorry, Tori's not it for me right now. So who did Nelson vote for? Did he? I didn't see that. It went by really quickly. I wish that they would take a little more time for the audience, I can see who everybody voted for.
I paused it past episodes because I'm like, there's like 90 people who voted. I need a second to like see what's going on.
Like I want to use that time to like make my own judgment of like, oh, let me see like who. Like I didn't see who Nelson voted for. I wanted to. I was annoyed that Kyle voted for Fessy and Anissa, as you already just stated, Michelle. So the people going in is going to be Devon and Nicole, or not Nicole, which is like a bit of a womp womp over here, because I was thinking it was going to be a female elimination, because if they went female, male, female would be next in my process of elimination. So I don't know if they changed that on the fly just because of what went down, but I wish that they kept that pattern, because then things would have been a lot different this episode. Unless maybe it was in Wes's contract to like not be on there that long this time around. You know? So I just don't understand why they needed to make it a men's elimination, because they would have known that they're going to be putting in Wes against Devon.
No, I don't think so. I think that they were good. That is a competition that girls and guys have done. And I think they made it male because of the Devon Nicole situation specifically. And that they made that decision once Devon got voted in. They're like, okay, so we'll do male.
No, that's exactly what I'm saying. But I wish that they had stuck with it being female and did something else. You know what I mean? Or like they knew that it was going to be a female elimination. Like maybe TJ says something or whatnot, you know? So just because I would have preferred them to strategize differently.
Mm-hmm.
I think they just wouldn't have two females by themselves, right? Like, because if a female went, then it'd be two males by themselves with two females going.
Exactly.
I just didn't. I wanted it still to be a female elimination.
It just would have made things so uneven. I just feel like it.
And then the next challenge, you'd have like two people who don't have a part. Yeah, so it'd be weird.
We could have probably figured something else out. Or maybe Liv's already going to be going as well. Like, I don't know. They could figure that out down the road. You know what I mean? I think that they could have shuffled things around. I would have preferred to see them strategize out of, because like maybe then there would be two rogue agents, and maybe then they both get, like, they have a double elimination. I don't know. It could have been something, but I feel like they could have done something differently and still kept the pattern of the men, women, instead of men or women, men. You know, I get what you're saying though with like keeping.
And then in addition to that, they might lose another woman because of that impending injury anyway. So you might wake up tomorrow with 3 gone, and it would just throw the whole season off, right?
Yeah.
Boo. I'm scraping at any possibility of this.
Yeah, like if it was just like maybe like, you know, one maybe, but I'm like with that, especially with that pending one, and it was a woman's night, I was like, no way.
Thank you, Carolyn. So Turkey is where Turbo is from. Turbo is an actor now, and he and Nani are actually still friends. That's cute. Melly says, I miss Joss on the challenge. Really? You do? He's on Instagram a lot. He does a lot of workouts. He lives in LA. I don't miss him though. Yes. Oh, just kidding. And if you want to see who voted who, YouTube and Instagram for the challenge, post a video called Votes Declassified and shows that. Thank you, Adrian, with all of the info, always. Very impressed. So Casey and Leroy didn't really share any information with each other, as we already kind of talked about, and the elimination is activated. They go down to the crater. And Jonathan, do you have any better names for the crater? Because we think it's bad.
You don't like it?
You like the crater?
It's all right, but I mean, like they call it, I don't know. But it is like it is made to be like a crater, right? So
I guess I want it to be a little bit more spy, double agenty, like.
Oh.
It just seems
double agency. Well, I mean the bunker, and then have like a.
They had the bunker last season, I guess.
Well, they did. I'll have to think of what's related to agents, like structure wise.
I know. Headquarters.
Spy Shack.
Whenever I think of Spy Shack, A, I think of Tony, then B, I think of the Jack Shack from Big Brother season 6, I think was the Jack Shack. Anyways, Howie. So Wes does go to Leroy and Cam and tries to get them to like work with him. That doesn't work. Boo. I'm so upset about that. I really wanted to. But we know that the compromise agent is going to be Devon and Nicole. So since Nicole is medically unfit to fight, it's going to be a men's elimination, as we talked about. And this was before there was a commercial break, and I was like, man, I think Leroy is going to throw in Wes. I was really sad before that commercial break. I'm like, that's what I think is going to do. And there's also voiceovers of Cam or confessionals of Cam being like, you know, he always thinks with his heart, but I think that like he needs to make a game move. And so when she said that, I was like, oh my God, he's really going to throw in Wes.
It's interesting because in War of the Worlds, when there's that whole big Cara US alliance with Cam and Ashley and blah, 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 and like they were so tight and, you know, they were doing what they had to do to get themselves there, but they were so loyal. And what Cam kept talking about is how like this group that we all bonded and we protected each other to get to the end. And so I understand that like her strategy is to get her and Leroy to the end and that he needs to make those moves, but those moves didn't need to be week 3, like right now against someone he's actually friends with and has known for over 10 years. Like he didn't have to make that move and it was his choice to make. And it's just interesting to me that like she's all about loyalty within those groups, but she's saying like, oh, Leroy doesn't have to have any loyalty towards Wes because I'm deciding that like it's best for his game and mine. But says who? Like we don't know that yet. And in the past, when he turned on people to go with Cam and he turned on like what Nani wanted to do, in the end, like it didn't get him to the win. So like, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. I kind of see both sides of it, but I just.
Well, I just wonder when has there been times that I just can't think of when Wes really turned on Leroy and like never exactly. And so Cam was saying that she thinks that Wes would turn his back on Leroy in a second.
Yeah, I guess what she was saying, like, I think she was saying that, like, in general, when it comes down to it, Wes will turn on anyone. And that isn't really the case. I think she's misreading based on, like, how manipulative and, like, mind gamey he can be. But that's with people he's not really truly working with. Then he lies. But, like, his close people, he doesn't fuck them over.
Well, that's the thing. That's totally like Wes is loyal. So if you're on Wes's side, he's going to want to work with you to figure out ways for you guys all to get further along. And he tends to believe that he can beat anybody else. So for the most part, it's anybody that will just kind of come up against him that he's usually trying to get out. But I don't think he's actually scared of losing to anybody. He's kind of lost that fear probably like decades ago. So I just don't see him throwing away his friendship over this game. And the fact that Cam doesn't see that was really, I understand why he was so hurt in this moment, because he would never have done that to Leroy for any amount of money, I don't think.
Like his eyes, you could see it in Wes's eyes, how sad he was.
So sad.
His blue little eyes, like he's just like, he was just so like genuinely upset. And in that moment, watching him, I was like, there's no way he's in the right mindset to win right now.
Well, especially because, so it's going to be Devon going against Wes. Devon is really the only person right now in this game that's Team Wes, really, that he, and Kyle, I guess, but like that he can count on for sure. And he knows the situation that Devon is in with his mom, and Devon wants to win this for his mom. And so out of all the people to be going against, when he's feeling hurt by somebody he's known for like half his life, more than that, a little bit, I don't know, a quarter of his life, like that sucks. I wouldn't want to do it. And I probably wouldn't go that hard and want to like beast out because just.
Well, I also think Wes was just saying that after the fact in the interview. I also want to say that like this episode was so heavy on, you can tell what's happening by the edit and or what people's confessionals are or something. I was like, I haven't noticed it this much before, but you know, every time like you were commenting on stuff that was happening, it's like, oh, this is gonna, and it did every time. Like, you know what I mean? Usually they try to trick you up, I feel like, a lot more. But I did see like Wes kind of saying that because of his ego a little bit more. And yeah, I don't know.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, it's kind of a classic thing. Same with the whole bananas thing before, when like I had to go in. It's like, no, you didn't. But but I did like the part where he said, how do you find the motivation to like give it your all and like push through and get that extra adrenaline when you're in a situation like this? And he's like, I don't know the answer. And I think him when he was younger, and and gave maybe less fucks about these people, would have been fine. And while I do think he did genuinely try to win and lost, like because at first he was like, I don't know what happened. And then afterwards he's saying like, oh yeah, I couldn't do it. But he didn't give up. I think he just didn't have that extra.
And this is when I'm sure who was in the comments saying he's past his prime. Well, maybe his prime, kind of like you're mentioning, Michelle, was the fact that he gave zero fucks about anybody, and he would find that extra thing so he can get the W and say.
But I'm also like, don't take that win away from Devon. Like it was earned. You know what I mean? It wasn't because you weren't at your 100%. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of, I felt that was a little disrespectful. You know,
I could feel though from just watching that I could feel it. I don't know if it's just the editing or with all the voiceover.
Yeah, you could feel the edit.
What?
Like you could feel the edit. That's for
maybe
sure.
Maybe the edit, but I did feel as though I felt that there was hesitation with him giving that extra push. You know what I mean? Like, it seemed that way to me that he like. I don't know.
I remember they had Devon early on in the episode talking about the issues that his mom's going through and stuff like that too, right? So it was definitely like a built up kind of a thing. I was very heavy on the edit and the I don't know, it was just very obvious.
It was definitely really heavy on the edit, but I agree. They did make it did seem like he was looking at Devon and he was just like, oh, I'm pushing, but I really want to do this. It seemed like at first he was
like to get to it and like keep digging and go. Like I feel as though he put up a really good fight. But I don't think that he allowed himself to go into that reserve energy to give like what he usually does to go into the last push.
But then win it and give him some money. You know what I mean? Like
agreed. Yeah. I wanted to say I did feel really conflicted watching this because on the one hand, I was like, this is showing the side of Wes that like he's grown and he is genuinely hurt and you can see the real emotion and its vulnerability. And then I was like, this is not the challenge. The challenge is no matter what, you never give up and you give 1,000%. And those are the people we respect the most, is that no matter what they fight. And I don't know that Wes really gave us this because it seemed like he sort of not fully gave up, but didn't give 1,000,000%. So I felt really conflicted of how I felt about it. And I agree that it was kind of like, I was like, Devon deserves to fully embrace this win that he got. And I think he did. And like, I don't know. It was really tough.
That he looked over at Wes and he saw that he wanted it more. And that, I don't think that Wes gave up, but I think that Devon wanted it more in this moment. And I do think it's from the reasons that we've stated. You know, Devon is his friend. He knows what he's going through. Wes is a champion. He has, you know, he's won many times before. And if he goes back into the house, he's going to probably have to go back in again and again and again. So I think he was just kind of like, you know what? Let's give Devon his shot here. Like, not that he gave up, but I think that he just didn't give the extra kick to win it.
Yeah, because that's happened now. You know, it's like it wears you down. Like when you're the person that they're throwing in 3 times in a row, it's like, you know, it's hard to find that motivation when, as opposed to like if you're blindsided and you're like, bring it, let's do it. You know what I mean? Like, and it's your first time in. It's like but every single week you're like, am I fighting a losing battle? Will this ever happen?
So Karen says Wes could have won. He was torn and betrayed by Lee, and you could call him a snake, but when he calls you his friends, he has your back. He's always had Lee's back, even when with the bananas drama. And that's what was so sad. Was like it was just kind of like an end of an era, and that money was more important. Which, you know, if you need the money, you need the money. But then the friendship that he had with Wes, I don't know if it can be repaired.
As a side troll, I did notice that about half an hour before the episode aired, Wes made an Instagram post of him and Leroy talking, like it's like a backstage, whatever. And it says, I wanted to shout out one of the best friends I ever made while doing the challenges, Lee. Him and I never allowed each other to get caught up in the West Bananas BS. Him and I played for 9 years together, never once crossing each other remotely. We've proven through our actions rather than other people's words what true loyalty means. It means the world to me that I've got a dude that has my back through thick and thin. You the man. And this was like before the episode aired. And then people were commenting, oh shit. And then he made another post after the episode talking about it. He's saying, like, I'm embarrassed, I'm sad, my feelings are hurt, I take the game seriously, I don't want to sugarcoat it or pretend I don't give a fuck because I do, whatever. And then he says, like, to his enemies, good game, he's happy in the front instead of the back. So, like, that makes us friends, like, great. To my friends across me, it's not cool, but there were so many of you, so I've decided to give you all a pass. And he's like, if it was one or two of you, I'd seek revenge, like in Kill Bill, but this isn't a movie, so I'm not going to even attempt it. So instead, you all get mulligans. And then he talks about how, like, when you cross me in shady ways because you're scared I'm going to cross you, this makes you the shady one. And talks about how, like, this has been really hard for the cast and fandom to digest about me. He's like, I'm not crossing my friends or people I've made promises to. When you say otherwise, I demand that you explain. So he's like, give me examples. Otherwise, it's propaganda. Yeah, and he's like, and then he's acknowledging, I think, Anissa, because Anissa called him a piece of shit in the interview. And he's like, when you say I'm a piece of shit in your interview, but I've never been a piece of shit to you in either the game or life, that makes you the piece of shit. And then he's like, when you apologize to me privately about defaming me on international television, it's not good enough. So he really is going off. He was really, I guess, upset, honestly.
It's an early boot. He has a big ego. I mean, he's upset about many things, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Hi, Phil. Just popped by to say happy holidays to me and everyone on Realness.
Hi, Phil.
Yes, happy holidays to you as well, Phil. Kind of getting to the end of this episode. So this was Leo's last challenge, so he had to do it. Sure, but I don't know if it's going to get him the win. That's what I'm saying. With all these moves, I just don't know if it's going to get them the W. That's what the big problem for me is. So just to get right to it, it's called Snapping Point. Basically, they're doing some sort of zigzag thing that we didn't really see with some sort of tether around their waist. And they had to run and try to hit a buzzer. They dig their heels in the sand, literally, and dig a little bit of hole and try to go inch by inch to hit the buzzer. Devon had more heart. He was able to take out Wes for whatever reason. He beat him fair and square. And I am actually happy to see Devon move forward. I didn't like hearing the sound bites of Corey being like, perfect, we wanted Devon to win because he would be an easy skull to take. I was like, I don't really think so. What do you guys think about that? Corey's comment about Devon winning this gold skull.
I don't remember that in particular, but I mean, like, how did I remember calling out? I don't know. I just think the whole challenge was like a blink of an eye, and then the meat of it was just that I didn't like the challenge. I didn't like the.
It was okay.
Just wasn't.
Yeah, I think what Corey said rings kind of true because, like, Devon is someone you probably could try to take a skull from easier than other guys.
Still a lot of people left, though.
I would probably go for the Leos that doesn't really play this game that often. Even Jay seems like, yes, he's proven himself, but he's a little bit smaller. He might be able to take like a weight advantage. It looks as though the next episode is a hall brawl, if I'm not mistaken.
And it looks like, sorry, I won't give away anything, but it looks like Jay gets into a fight with
probably Josh. I think it's someone from Big Brother.
Josh. I think it's Josh.
Womp womp.
You know, if you're getting Jay riled up, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was like, oh, I've never seen Jay that like aggressive before. I'm like, I like it.
I know, I love him so much.
The episode must have known that Fanta wasn't going to be here because there was no club scene. Where was the club scene? Maybe the Pizzagate happened after the club scene. Maybe they had booze in them, and that's why they're making some late night snacks. And like Josh was so easily riled up. Maybe. But I want to see the club scene. I do always look forward to it. Okay, hold on. Off topic, says Caroline, but sad news. Oh, no. Nana's mom got into a car accident. It was a hit and run, but she's in critical but stable condition. She's going to need surgery, spending Christmas in the hospital.
Yeah, I did see that.
We send you lots of love, Mommy Bananas. Obviously, we never want anybody to be in any hurt in any hospitals, especially around the Christmas season. It's really sad. So sending them lots of love. Kanisha. Hi, Kanisha. So happy that Reality News to the channel and reviews the shows that it does. Yes, they're all my favorites. So I'm happy that you're doing Kanisha. We are doing a Love Island What's Happening Now recap next week. And if any the Bachelorette stuff is going on, we might rehash some of that. So Kanisha, I'm sure that you'll be excited to hear what we think about what's going on in the Love Island universe. So Adrian asked, prediction, I think Liv's going to get medically DQ'd. I think not, because what about the tea that Fanta read when she pulled up Liv? So Michelle, do you want to replay this for Jonathan, because he doesn't know what we're talking about here?
Replay what?
Remember when Fanta was looking up Liv when we were doing the cast assessment?
She found some information
that we were like shocked, and it actually made us all like.
So she like shit on the floor
in the hot tub or something.
She can do that. She can do that overnight. That's fine.
I just don't feel like it's yet. Do you think that the shitting in the pants in the hot tub happens like in her bikini?
No. That happened on another show. She shit in a hot tub on another show. So we were saying that like it's likely she'll do something. Maybe.
Oh, I thought it was happening. Is something that
I was like, I haven't seen a hot tub. I don't think yet. Have we?
No. I don't think that's happening this season.
Oh, I thought it was this season. So I've been waiting for that moment.
I think the doctor's taking her out.
I'm just personally waiting for the Gabby Fessy hookup to just start happening right now, because the sooner it happens, the sooner I can hope that one or both of them goes home, you know?
I like Gabby, but I don't like Fessy.
Yeah, no, I like her, but I want him gone. Not that
last little bit of the episode, Wes obviously loses, Devon wins. I'm actually very happy for Devon, because I would like to see him do well. I think he's going to be ganged up on, but
10 points for me.
Woo! Go, Mishi. And Wes says he makes like a little bit of a speech, kind of like, about loyalty and friendships and all this stuff. I felt for him in the speech. It was a little bit bitter boots, but like he gets to say whatever he wants to say. He's Wes. And he does say, the last thing he says is, everyone gang up on Leroy, which I was like, ooh, shots fired.
That was kind of like a little troll bit, I thought, at the end of it. I mean, the truth is, like, at this point, Wes knows he didn't have the majority of votes anyway. So him saying that on the way out is not going to screw over Leroy. Leroy openly voted Wes in. They know why he's doing this. Leroy is still not a shady, like, I don't think it's going to really affect
I don't think so
Leroy really at all. I think he was saying it more of like a general statement, maybe some of the others. And I understood when Leroy was all like, I got to do what I got to do. But then Cam's all like, you're not the mastermind. It's like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like she watched some of his older seasons right before coming on and just had this image in the mind of like back when he was like super like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, because Cam, she says like, Cam, you got outsmarted. I don't think he got outsmarted. I think that he wasn't able to compete with the numbers. He didn't have the numbers, and she did, these are facts. And so I think that he did a pretty good job with the fact that he wasn't in the majority. And is that outsmarting? That's a question, Jonathan, for you. Is it outsmarting?
No, I don't really think it is. I don't know. Do you think it's outsmarting or?
Mm-mm. I don't think at all, Michelle. I know you're the Wes super stan of this podcast.
I mean, hey, I know Wes is not always perfect by any stretch. I don't know that he got outsmart in a way, a little bit. The fact that he was blindsided, like
he says that, but he knew that he was going to be going in.
No, like the moment Devon got the votes and it didn't go the way he wanted, like even if he had convinced Leroy in that conversation to not throw him in, what happens when Casey then votes him in? How do they decide? Is it like, oh, if you guys can't decide, then that means Leroy has to go in? Like, like who knows what it's going to be? So if he has to agree with Casey, like, what is he going to do? It's like, I felt like it was obvious at that point that Wes was getting thrown in. So maybe he was just saying he was blindsided. If he genuinely didn't think he was going in,
but
then they
smarted the fact that he believed that his friendship with Leroy for 15 years was stronger than his relationship with Cam. Okay, maybe then he's outsmarted that he allowed his heart not to maybe fight back harder. So, okay, and if that's how we're measuring outsmart. But I don't think that in a game sense, he was outsmarting. He knew that he was target number one. He did all that he could to get the numbers. And he was hoping that his loyalty and friendship was enough to...
Yeah, I don't think banking on something and then it not coming through is necessarily being outsmarted by someone. I just think it's... Yeah, like it's define outsmarted really, but like to me that's not what that's called. So
yeah, I didn't think it was outsmarted. I think that she has the numbers. She is in a really good relationship with Leroy. They are working together, and I think maybe if we look at outsmarted, then the fact that he believed that his relationship was strong, and she's like, "Ha, your relationship wasn't as strong as you think. You're outsmarted here." Kind of.
Yeah, it just kind of gross, like a little bit, like just kind of sucks for that. But the truth is, like, Cam and Wes never had a really good relationship. She does not owe Wes anything. And so if she can convince Leroy to go against his friend, fine, because she has no stakes in that. She has stakes for her to win and or get Leroy as far as possible and have him win because that's their money. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, it's up to Leroy. Like, it was his decision to be like, I am going to go with it. He decided to go with what Cam wanted, but also because he was like, you know what? This is what I feel I need to do to win. This is the choice I need to make. So he made that decision. At the end of the day, though, like, you know, if I was in Cam's position and I had no relationship with Wes and this is my boyfriend, I'd be like, get rid of him. Who cares? Like, so I do understand totally like where she's coming from in that respect.
But outsmarted may be the wrong word there. So Carolyn says someone will be back to take Olivia or Fit Toddler's position. I wonder, this person who got eliminated on early on will be back. That's what you heard. Ooh. Ashley's coming back?
Oh, no, please don't.
I wish. I used to hate Ashley, but I hate her less now.
No, I hate Ashley.
Oh, dear.
I can go on for a whole another 2 hours of how I don't like it.
We're almost done. I'm sorry. It's actually not as long as I thought it was going to be, but it's pretty long. Who will likely get there first? Skull, Cam, or Leroy?
Cam.
Cam.
Yeah.
I'd see her getting a skull pretty soon.
You're getting one, or do you see her losing?
I see her getting a skull. I see her going in against. I see her getting a skull against pretty much anyone except for Lolo. Lolo, I would be like, I don't know.
What about Natalie?
On the final?
Oh, Natalie, of course. Natalie's like my number one, like stand for life, survivor queen, love her to death. Yeah. So I also think that would be a toss up too. I actually would give the win to probably Natalie, but who really knows? But I think Cam beats anybody else.
So are you guys both saying that you believe that Cam is going to run the final?
I mean, again, if she's up against Natalie, no. But I mean, I think she can get her red skull. I think there's a good chance. And I definitely can see her in the end, especially with the edit right now. It's not too heavy. It's like just enough that you're like, this is someone who I definitely see us following along.
Yeah, she's going to be relevant pretty far. She either makes it right before the final, I bet, or is it fully in the final?
Natalie says, I heard that there will be people from TikTok on the challenge. We heard that as well. We're just like, N-O spells no. Thank you. And yep, so did Adrian. Honestly, it's ridiculous in his opinion. I know. Okay, so the last part of this episode was the infiltration. Wait, who said this? Devon says cold beer and revenge is usually the way that he operates in this game. But instead he is going to be taking Tori. Now, I thought he was going to take Cam, but maybe he's trying to spread Cam out. So he knows that Kyle's with Cam now, so he kind of has Cam on lock there. And so he wanted to maybe break up some of the power and be part of the power dynamic. So I think it was smart in that right to pull Tori. Now, Natalie and Corey, I thought this was a pretty good duo. I think it would allow Natalie to fade into the background. I don't think anybody was going to ever want to take her gold skull. But I think this makes it even less likely for her to be thrown in and not know that it's a women's elimination. Kind of like, if this situation happened this time around and it was women, with Wes or something like that. So I thought it was a pretty good duo, a good for her. I think that she'll work decently well with Corey. She might have confessionals about Corey being a little bit of a dummy, but I'm all right.
I was surprised that Devon picked Tori. I get why he did, but I was like, you're gonna take, like, you're not gonna take Natalie? Like, Natalie is like,
but she has no power in the game. And I think that she's
true, but I don't know that Tori has that much power. I feel like
in the know about how votes are going down. I think Natalie will still be on side with Devon. I think that, now if Natalie and Corey are together, okay, so it's another team young buck person that they're not going to be thrown in with. And I think that they're just spreading out the people that have been voting together so they can have more across the way. So yes, Natalie's a strong partner, so maybe they'll win, but having her on a team with Corey is better for him, and having him with Tori and then having now Cam with Kyle, I think it just makes them be part of the conversation with more people.
Yeah, I guess my whole worry is like, is Natalie really going to stick with him now that Wes is gone? Like, she has a new partner. She doesn't I can see her also moving to the other alliance.
But how would that work though? Because she would have to win another elimination and then choose somebody else.
No, I'm saying I can see her voting however Corey wants.
Oh.
Because she voted however Wes wanted before.
I think so. Maybe they discussed it, Devon. Maybe they discussed it beforehand.
Yeah.
To split up so that it makes them both look like they're by themselves, maybe, and that they wouldn't be a targeted team. Because if you're going after Devon and Natalie, let's just take them both out. Natalie's a strong woman. If we can get rid of her skull. So maybe they wanted to split them up to make them less of a target.
Yeah, true.
Maybe. All right, almost done. Wait, Johnny from Love Island will be on the next season of the challenge. He was implying on his live. Really? Okay, we'll be talking about that next week. That's the thing. Interesting. The super trailer, Big T colliding into CT, who has a pillow, so maybe he's training her for Hall Brawl. That's so cute.
He used to train DM.
Yeah. Right? I remember we just watched that.
Oh,
that is cute. I don't want people from BB Canada on the challenge. Amara wants to do it. Oh dear. I'm Canadian, but I don't even want that to happen. I want to see Danielle from Big Brother Over the Top on the challenge. I don't think she has the chutzpah to do the challenge.
I never watched it.
You never watched Over the Top?
Me neither.
Mediocre. There's parts about it that
I was like, where does it air? I don't know. And then it was over. And I was like, what's happening?
Exactly. Same exact thing.
Trump was president. That was basically what they got informed that in the House, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so the last thing, who said this? So I put watch me go to work. Who said that? Was it Devon?
Devon.
All right, I want to watch Devon go to work. I'm rooting for Devon. Right now, Devon is who I want to see do well. I want to see him and his smarts be able to dismantle this alliance. That's what I'm here for right now. Final thoughts before the new year, guys, about the challenge. Anything last to say?
Final thoughts. Kyle's veneers are terrible. And I don't like his hair plugs that much either.
Oh no.
But I like him as a person, so that's all that matters.
I like Kyle.
Yeah, I would say
he's on my screen right now, so I can see those veneers. And
veneers are terrible.
They're not good.
People who gained points for me so far this season in terms of me liking them suddenly, weirdly, Kyle, Devon, Natalie, but I already loved Natalie. And honestly, I think these change-ups are so interesting. I really hope the partners change every week. Give me something different every time. I don't even care. Let's just actually use these weird twists. Let's use them every time. It's great. It's great TV.
It is great TV. I think next week I'm kind of wanting just to see Josh put out of his misery, but I think it's going to be a women's elimination. So that's
no, he's going to be there for a while. It's Josh.
Oh man, that's what I'm hoping for.
If you were a guy and you were competing on the challenge, you want Josh there in the end. Why would you not want to compete against Josh in the end?
Yeah, it's true. Like in the finale or at
the final?
The last gold skull.
No, get him into the final. Get him a red skull. Let's help Josh. I want him in the end with me because I will always beat him,
It's true. Hunter says that MTV won't invite him back.
Great. We hate Hunter.
Okay. That's okay. Sorry, Hunter, but
Wait, Ashley's Hunter? Why do we hate?
Ashley's Hunter? Why do we hate Hunter?
Why do you like Hunter?
Why do you like Hunter?
I don't love Hunter. I'm just indifferent. But like, why do we hate Hunter?
I didn't like any of Team Young Buck. I don't like when he was going, oh yeah, like, I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't like that. And I felt bad for him when Ashley took the money from him. But
not for a second. He degraded her. I don't care that she's awful as well. He literally said the most terrible things about her. He said he was going to come for her family, like all these terrible things. And then we're supposed to all be surprised when she steals the money. Like Johnny Bananas steals money from someone who was nice to him the whole time. Like Hunter treated her like garbage. Like literally the things he would say to her were disgusting. And I
don't like on the show. I don't remember it.
On the show and off. And like, if I like in the moment, I remember yelling at my screen being like, you better not give him that money. He does not deserve a fucking cent.
I remember thinking that he didn't deserve it. But I just was like, but maybe just be the bigger person here. But like, I understand why she did it. You know, I see both sides there. I didn't like Hunter, so I didn't really want him to win money anyways. I didn't really like Ashley that much, so I hope CT or Deliberation won't be the next target. Oh goodness, I know Adrian, but it's very likely. It's very likely.
I don't know about CT though. I don't feel like he's. Again, I'm going to talk about the edit. I don't feel like he's getting the edit where he's like attacked right away. I think he'll make it. I think it's like when they gave him the whole like, look, I've lost weight. This is me now. This is whatever. I feel like that's like a little bit of foreshadowing for him, kind of making it a little bit farther.
Well, if we're hearing that he's training Big T for Hall Brawl, is that, do you think, alluding to the fact that maybe Big T is going to have to go in and do Hall Brawl?
Maybe.
Or just practicing, just so.
But maybe they're just generally practicing. Like, I don't know.
Well,
she could beat Amber M at a Hall Brawl.
Yep, she could. Like maybe people like Big T enough that they'll put in somebody that she could beat.
Sure.
Maybe because then they can maybe take that skull away from her eventually, if they wanted to. So I'd be okay with that. Like. See Big T getting a skull and then having to defend it maybe later. Like I can deal with that. Anyways, I love you guys. I love talking about the challenge. Even though this wasn't my favorite episode so far, I still love talking about it with you guys. Thanks for joining us, Jonathan. Did you enjoy your time here with us today?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm no fantasy or however you say that, but it's a little bit of a tongue twister for me. But I enjoyed coming on and giving my 2 cents.
Yes, thank you. And thanks, Michelle. Happy holidays to you guys. Please, subscribe right down over there. Ring that bell so every time we go live, you'll be notified. And like this episode if you liked it. Other than that, happy holidays. See you next year, 2021. Woo!